Season 3, week 2, day 1 of week 2, and day 5 of the league. I am Naori Mizuki, and joined with me this evening is Tombizz. It's his first time casting with us. So, how are you feeling tonight?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Straight off a flight a couple of hours ago, but I'm ready. I'm ready to get into some Apex casting, and I'm looking forward to it. That's what I can already say.
Hell yeah, that's the dedication. Just a reminder, guys, this league is this season of the league, in fact, has a prize pool sponsored by the Wonderful Battalion. It is $1,000 prize pool, $600 for first place, $300 for second place, and $100 for third. So thank you very much to Battalion. I'm sure the players appreciate that immensely. And we are very sorry for the late start. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we are here, and we're going to be spectating our boy. We're down to we're down to 15 squads. So already things have been quite intense here, but we are going to be swapping over to a fight where seem to be getting heated up.
That's one hell of a name. Bust my pistachios. You'll be looking to try and find something through the smoke and actually being caught out a little bit by the ring. Obviously, not going to do a whole lot of damage just yet and has to watch out for the ult coming in from behind. However, I don't know if it's the same for you. Mine is just completely frozen. So, oh, it looks like it's come back. He's going to be onto the edge and teammates all around him. As of right now, they're doing okay. But the thing is, they don't actually have a lot of high tier loot, which could be a little bit of a problem. Either way, let's see if they can get something. They're actually going back into the ring. Oh, you can see the marker actually coming up for his team. So again, going to make their way a little bit further forward, get themselves the loot drop as well, which will at least gain them a little bit. Purple hammer available. I imagine that means all of them must have one if that's not actually going to be picked up. They will just be rotating back around, get themselves into the ring, try and reduce the amount of damage they're taking this early on into the game. Well, as you mentioned already, we've lost a few players along the way, but they've still managed to keep their 3-man squad standing. We saw in the previous, at least when we were looking at Boy, they'd actually lost one of their teammates. That it had timed out as well, so not going to be anything to collect. Well, as we can see, back on board with Boy. Doesn't have any head armor, or, well, I would say doesn't have any head armor. It's a little bit reduced. They don't have themselves the blue or the purple just yet, so it's going to be looking to try and get around the building, very close to the edge of the zone, so it doesn't really have any problems just yet. And with the R301 and Peacekeeper in hand, pretty much one of my favorite, at least, duos of weapons to combine together. He's going to be going with his teammate further forward.
Didn't mean to drop you like that. I am getting emergency work calls in the middle of this, so I will do my best not to leave you hanging. I see we are back on Boy here, and they're in a little bit of a dangerous situation in that there's only 2 of them left. Of course, playing for positioning here, it's not about kills, it's about making sure you get that top 5 placement so that you can get points. So if they can't get that revive, it's really unfortunate. They are going to be going into every fight man down.
Yeah, definitely going to be one of the issues that they face. And, well, as you mentioned, it is more about survival. It's definitely possible for them to not take any battles, but that's not going so well, at least for his teammate. We're going to be just looking to see if anybody's going to try and push from above. And actually, there will be lots of damage done. I don't know if he actually managed to drop him, though. I think he's still standing, at least for now, so his opponent will be able to survive that a little bit longer. And you can see they're going to try and take up some extra positioning here because they don't obviously know how many players they actually have on the other side, and a 3v2 can be pretty difficult to fight.
I'm going to be the absolute worst human being in the world. I have an emergency and I need to pop out for like 10 minutes. So I'm going to leave you to it and I will be right back. I am so sorry.
That's so good. That's so good. I am a solo caster master, so we're just gonna go straight back in, and well, we will have ourselves just this little battle going on. Obviously, we can't see too much about the opponents at this point in time. You can see the Boy and Co are just going to be hiding back. They really don't want to take too many risks in this scenario. They're already inside the ring, so they don't really have to panic too much. They don't have to leave themselves with, well, basically one of those fights that they're not going to be winning, like pushing aggressively and basically trying to take control further forward. The fact is, though, there is a little bit of a drop coming in just further around the corner. It'd be quite risky to go for it, but At the same time, his teammate Ark could definitely use with a little bit of an upgrade, maybe get some purple armor in there, or better. I say or better, gold is the same. I don't think anybody's going to be doing too many executions to try and get themselves that shield back up. But with themselves firmly in the ring, I don't really see a reason for them to go pushing for anything here. You can see the ult already in onto Boy as well. So he's pretty much ready that if they do need a quick escape plan, or say his teammate goes down, he can just put the portal down and basically just give himself the space to retreat back. And while they're not being pushed, so really we're not getting too much action here from Boy. I wonder if we can jump into someone else, because I think they're just going to chill in this corner, especially. Oh, Pistachio will be left on the edge of the ring. They're going to actually be pushing further in towards Repulsor. Boy, I think they're actually going to be looking to come in close to him as well. So they've got to be a little bit careful. He has spotted out his opposition, and you can see tagging them for his teammates. So definitely looking to try and basically give all the information he can. And they're going to go pushing towards him. The Wraith fights forward, and they're going to be chasing him down. This is a high-risk play from his opponent. I wonder if he's actually solo in this fight, because to try and push towards a team like that, you almost have to imagine that they are completely pincered. Teammate actually not going to chase, so maybe not wanting to get baited into more teammates, and also knowing that there's plenty of players in front of them. They don't want to get pincered. That's one of the worst things in this game, getting caught out from multiple people. It is also possible that that was Pistachio that we saw a minute ago, as they were looking to fly in from behind, get themselves into the ring. And this is the big problem for Boy and his teammate at the moment, is that they know that there's players inside. They also know there's some outside. And you can see that's why they're actually trying to push around the edge of the ring. Eventually, they're going to get forced in. Everybody will get forced to move forward. They don't want to be the ones caught in the middle, because that basically means you're screwed. That's the game over for you if you have people trying to kill you from different directions. And they want to play it safe. As mentioned prior, it is all about the points in this scenario. It doesn't really matter about how many kills you get. You can pretty much take everyone over. Pistachio, in the meantime, has managed to make his way further in towards the compound, firmly in the ring again, so don't really need to push too far forward at this point. You can almost bet at this point of the game there's going to be players around every single corner. They are taking a hell of a lot of damage. This is a bit of a problem. As said, they're not in too much trouble just yet. They don't really need to take this fight, but eventually, with 14 teams left, the ring getting so small, they need some ground. They need some positioning, because, well, as you can see from the map that they're actually bringing up for us, kindly, the ring has actually got very small at this point. This is sort of what we see at the moment in competitive Apex, because you don't need the kills. You don't need to be fragging up those numbers, getting 10, 15, 20, whatever kills a game, because they are worthless. It's all about survival. And that's why all of these teams are just looking to try and stay alive as much as possible. That's also why with a lot of these teams, you actually see relatively low loot, because the main way that you get loot in this game is actually just by the battles. You're not going to find everything you want unless you are extremely lucky, or unless you go to one of the high loot compounds at the beginning. And, well, if that's what you're doing, that's incredibly risky, at least at this stage of the game when survival is the biggest factor. Now, again, we're going to see them wrap around. Now, we do know the Boy and Co are just through the door, so they've got to be a little bit careful here. And they're actually going to go, oh, that was a good little Wraith teleport there, just to make sure that it doesn't take any damage. And I think they're actually going to pincer in onto Boy. Boy's actually going to be dropped just as we switch. The bad luck curse of the camera, as they will fall. And that was the team that we saw earlier. They were trying to push them. And that was sort of the scenario we mentioned. Like, we saw them being shot by Pistachio, who was up the top. Now we look at, oh, he's called Rude Boy. I like the name. I'm digging it. Still, actually, they've got themselves that early ring control. That is the big sort of advantage of Pathfinder. You also get all of the sort of zip lines to get you into position. But this is probably my favorite thing about the character. They are sat dead center of the ring. They have found this out early. I am actually surprised that when I casted a little bit of this earlier on. And even though teams know that this is a factor, we see Pathfinder actually not in a huge amount. Like, he is still played by many of the teams, but I think this is one of the most crucial things early on, is that if you know that the ring is the most important thing in this game, do what they've done. Like, they're not going to move. They're going to sit here for the rest of the game. If they're lucky, the ring will go bang on their position. Everybody will have to push in. In terms of weaponry armor, they've got the Peacekeeper for the close range battles. The Spitfire is also just an absolute shredder the amount of bullets that you can have in, and the fact that they have themselves the maximum amount, the extended mag available is just perfect. It just allows them this space. And this is one thing that I can tell you now, I am atrocious. I am atrocious at this game at is just playing passively and doing what they're doing, just sitting in the corner. I've just been told by a wonderful producer that Pistachio has actually gone down. So I imagine the same sort of positions being battled at the moment, just trying to push forward. And it's a bit of an obscure ring position as well. So it's not really the best case for any of the teams. Like most teams won't start around this area, even though it is a higher loot. But either way, we now look into a new man. It's Shun. Just around the edge of that ring as well. This is sort of what you see a lot in Apex at the moment. These passive positions being held. You can see they've got the exit point of the Wraith if necessary. And actually, it means that they can sort of control two different spots around the edge, which is going to be perfect just for trying to catch any teams pushing in on the edge of the ring. But also it gives you the space that you can get further into the center. The only big problem is if someone else pushes into the center and then uses your portal against you, and then you're in a little bit more trouble. But even still, I would say loot-wise, not in the best scenario at the moment. You can see two players with only the white armor. That's, well, pretty much the basic, the standard you'd get at the beginning. And actually, the one teammate who didn't have it has taken an awful lot of damage in the meantime. So they've got to be a little bit careful here. This is where we should start to see some battles coming into play with
And
the
I'm
teams
back.
all edging in.
I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, I think you've come back at the perfect time, though. This is the moment, obviously, when everything's going to get interesting.
Yeah, let's have a look here because yes, 12 teams left here. Goodness me, I'm actually surprised that there are still so many teams left after quite a long amount of time here. And the ring, of course, is getting so much smaller. Normally by now there'd be fewer teams. So this is quite interesting. And I'm liking this positioning here using these wooden palisade type walls here to try to just keep themselves hidden and not peek too much. They have spotted an enemy in a house just across the way there, so they are going to be trying to hide, but they're not looking too good here. I mean, their shielding is insanely low, so going into these fights they are going to be a little bit on the back foot.
Yeah, and the problem is they don't have a choice. They've got to make their way forward now. The ring is going to start to pincer them in, and they have low shields. They're also fairly low on health. You could already see the damage taken onto Bangalore, and as they look to make their way into the house, they're fighting up against opposition who have themselves those peacekeepers. They can do real damage at close range, and this is where the all-out brawlers begin. This is where everybody's going to start falling just in this little house, the little hut that was held. But you can still see, you look over to Rude Boy, they have not moved. Now, the ring wasn't perfect. They knew exactly where it was going to go for the previous one, but it is going to force them out of the house. But I think from their eyes here, it's like, okay, can we catch some teams out? Can we get towards that sort of top 5 teams before it goes into that one building?
But of course, staying holed up in one building for too long can be quite dangerous. Of course, if you get caught out, you are going to be caught a little bit off guard here. There is, there's a pretty decent field division, and you can see based on their mini map that they are all looking in different directions and kind of cover all of their bases. But it's still a pretty dangerous place to be. So they are going to be trying to not get caught out. And once the ring starts closing, they're going to need to move in. And then, of course, there's always that danger. If you're already in the ring, you don't have to move in. So you don't have to run across a wide open space. And that, of course, gives you a little bit of an advantage. But if you're outside the ring, you have to move in. And that puts you in danger. On the flip side, if you're outside the ring, you can aggress on other teams and kind of take them by surprise. But if you're inside the ring, you just kind of get aggressed on.
Well, it looks like we're going to find out who is the king of the swamp. It isn't going to be Shrek this time, but we'll see whether or not one of the teams can claim the title. TS7, position-wise, is actually fantastic. They've got the high ground, which we've learned from Star Wars is always the way to win. And the fact is, well, the teams are going to have to try and push and take control, as you mentioned just moments ago.
Oh, back on Rude Boy here, and it seems they have gotten into a fight already, hiding out in that house. It's dangerous. There's going to be some nades coming out. They're trying to get some poke damage into this team. Oh, didn't manage to get the shielding off. Unfortunate. Takes quite a lot of damage there. We are going to see Bloodhunter at the top. They're trying to do a little bit of a body block. Oh, there's the Wraith shield. So they are going to be hopping in and out of that, not shield, the portal. Oh, you tried,
Sneaky.
buddy.
Yeah, I think that was actually one of the squads dropping as well because of it. The last man standing, just trying to hide in the corner, get yourself those couple of extra points, or just get yourself on the board, I suppose. I believe it's only the top 5 that actually get themselves anything in this scenario. So just hoping that maybe everybody will kill each
Ooh.
other. It seems, though, the damage is actually being done. They're holding their position. They will eventually have to move. But as you mentioned, these are the positions that have to be taken. Still, though, they're being pushed from all angles. So many people looking to try and take the fight. There's still 8 squads left. As they sit in the corner, the ring gets to the tiniest points. And well,
And of course, by now everyone knows that they're in here. There's been the sound of gunshots, and so people are going to be moving in very quickly, and that's exactly what we saw. And of course, there was a team out there that was firing in, knowing that this is where Rude Boy and his team were hiding out. They're in a pretty dangerous position, but they have managed to heal up all the way down to 8 squads, and this is where things are going to start getting exciting.
yeah, luckily for them as well, by holding their position, people have brought the loot to them. So they now have themselves with plenty. And we see actually TS7, it was mentioned they had a really good spot based previously, but they've actually lost themselves a couple of players. Now we go back into the battle. Dual Media looking to try and hold on to this house, but it's not going so well. They've lost their first player, or at least in terms of being down. And actually, in fact, there's 2. It's left all onto Zello to try and clutch this one out for the team. He has at least been able to down Shine, but the fact is it's just become a little huddle in this hut as they all look to survive.
Everybody trying, and it's so funny though. You can't melee anybody or anything. You just have to crawl around and hope that you don't die. Oh, that's
It's just been ruined.
Oh my word, you just got melted, my dude. Unfortunate.
The power of grenades just being shown. It was something I learned fairly early on in this game, that grenades are absolutely ridiculous. It looked like one of the players there was going to try and finish his, it doesn't matter, Zello's going to fall, but they were going to leave it to the ring anyway. So it seems like this has gone pretty badly in the end, considering the positions. They did take a lot of players with them, but it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, unfortunately, their squad does get taken out. And that's our last stream. So we are going to be checking to see if they are going to death spectate. Thank you, and we can hopefully ride out the last of this. 5 squads left, which means that everybody still alive will be getting points, and that's quite huge. These guys holding up here, they don't have any shielding, and that's yikes. And be trying to survive here, but if they get caught in a firefight, it's dangerous.
Did they both get respawned? Is that what's happened there? Because to not have any armor at all is quite peculiar at this stage of the game, but it seems like we're now on board with JMW. Obviously in Team Twitch, as many people seem to be. It's quite peculiar. I don't know if that's just
Team
something
Twitch,
going on.
I'm telling you. Yeah, Twitch has got a lot of money. They can sponsor so many players. With the power of Twitch Prime, we will pop off, as DeFran says.
Now everybody is trying to hide in the back. You can see how small this ring has now gotten, and it will just continue to shrink from here on out. It's going to get much more difficult for the remaining teams if they are outside of the ring. And from the team up above, with JMW, the man we're watching, they've got a very good position here. The only problem is, as you mentioned before, it's very easy for teams to just be hiding somewhere and look to pincer them in from behind. Doesn't look like they're in too much trouble at this point. You can see they are just playing the survival game. They're using the angles, trying to use the peripheral vision to gain a little bit of ground and see one of the players as they look to push in. Obviously team up on that remaining player, but at the moment they don't want to give away any skin. They don't want to show anything.
The thing that really catches my eye is all those golden death boxes. I'm one of those players. I just want to go loot it. Shinies. A nice rolling thunder, though, to try and get some zoning. But thankfully, somehow the tip of this house shields them from any damage that may have come in, which is actually quite huge. Now the ring is starting to close, and this is going to be dangerous. It's a teeny tiny little ring. A team behind
there's so
them,
many grenades!
Oh, and you're still alive. You what? Manages to get the down, but gets taken down by an arc star. Oh my word. They've gone down now, and that's all in French. I can't see if we have a winner. Hey,
yeah, we do. I think that was just random at that point. There was about 15 grenades in the middle, all exploding at once, and while the victory came off of that, so much damage done, and it's actually going to be, is that TSM or is it just one player from TSM?
It could be the whole team. Because not everybody puts their tag in their team name, much like those guys from the team Twitch.
Yeah, Team Twitch.
All right, and that was it for match one. So well played to all the teams involved here. We are going to be coming back very shortly for our game two. Please, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a bit. Welcome back, everybody. Apex.Pro League Season 3. We are in week 2, and this is day 5 overall, coming into match 2 of this series. Once again, prize pool sponsored by Battalion, $1,000, 600 of which going to the top team. I am still Naori Mizuki, and joined with me is still Tombizz. How you doing?
I, I haven't been fired yet, which is a good thing. Like I
Hey.
made it through one game, and we'll see if I make it through two. Hopefully, you'll make it as well without like somebody like coming and getting lost, and then you have to like go find
Oh,
them.
Lord. Yeah. So in the last cast, I had to leave early because I run a guest house and the guest got lost and I had to go fetch her. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. And I will do my best to stay for the entirety of this cast. I felt kind of bad leaving you here on your first day.
It's all right. Solo casting, used to it. It's all good. We are going to be switching on board with Doma, who already has himself the R301. That seems to be pretty much the standard for everybody. Like, not such a rare gun to find. I remember when they reduced the wingman as well to make that less rare, and then you could find it everywhere.
Ooh,
And speaking of a
ooh.
wingman, there you go. But all of the nades doing so much damage. That seems to be the big thing that I'm learning from the competitive Apex scene is grenades are everything. Like, they're so powerful, ripping off shields, stunning enemies as well. They can just help you so much in fights. The last game was pretty much 5 teams all dying to grenades, so
Pretty much.
definitely worth it.
In the last circle, it's a veritable firework display, just tons and tons of grenades and people meleeing each other and trying to shoot each other. Like, you get to that point, you're so close together that you don't shoot anymore, you just try and punch everybody to death. Sometimes it works.
Yeah, no, it definitely can. SKC, they got away with that one. That was very close to them going down fairly early on in this game. Like, we've already seen in the last game, there was 14 teams left as the ring got to a very small scale. And every time these guys heal themselves, they get their shields knocked right off once again. They are in a bad spot at the moment.
Yeah, coming up that rope, and they had somebody chasing them all the way. Then as they get to the top of the zip line, there's a team across the way, and now while they're in hiding, there's yet another team. Clearly this must be the team that was chasing them. They've now aggressed into them. It is not looking good for these guys.
I think there's more people here than in the battle for Winterfell that's just gone down in Game of Thrones. There's so many people in this room at the moment.
No spoilers.
It is just
no
ridiculous.
spoilers.
Oh,
How
this
are
is
you actually
risky.
getting the res off? Hello?
I wonder if they've already done so much damage to their opponents.
Oh no, he goes down again. This is insane. There's so much damage coming through. Yeah, the Wraith somehow still alive. Gonna be trying to get a res off onto somebody. I think if you're gonna res somebody, it's gotta be that lifeline. But the lifeline is so far away, it's dangerous to even try. No, another team
They're
from
done.
behind. No. Oh my god, they lived for so long, but they just got like sixth partied. There were so many teams in this fight. It's actually crazy to find so many teams in one area. I mean, teams are usually trying so hard to avoid these early fights. You don't want to be going down so early. So to have so many teams be stacked in that little area, it's quite interesting indeed.
Yeah, I think it might just be one of those situations where either you sort of have the image in your head of, well, no one's going to go here, and then everybody goes there. Or you go, well, there must be avoiding the battles, so we won't avoid the battles. And then 4 different teams have that same idea, and you will get screwed at once.
Yeah, that's it exactly. And sometimes, yeah, it can be just about luck and rotating to the right place. But that being said, I mean, if your mentality is to avoid fights and you start hearing gunfire, just go the other way, man.
They did. Everybody was in every other way. They went up, they go through the building, there's one outside the building, there's one down the bottom of the rope, there's one inside the building as well. Like, I don't know where you wanted them to go there. They had to pretty much blast themselves into the sky and teleport 400 miles away.
They needed it. They needed an octane, and they could have jumped into the sky and gotten away. We're gonna be seeing here. It seems like a cross map battle we've got guys over across this way here where we scoped out, trying to get a headshot onto one of them, and off far to the south where the rest of his team are. It seems that they're checking to see if it's safe, and they have given the possibly the all clear, or maybe they're just rotating. This is cool. So they're just going to swap positions. I like this. I haven't actually seen something like this where they swap rotations between themselves. They can cover the same areas, but they're doing it in different ways, with different strengths. So you got the sniper in certain areas, you've got the flanky types in other areas, and they're going to be rotating between each other. That's pretty cool.
I think some of it may have also been just due to loot. I think they wanted to like switch it up so that Doma was able to go get himself a barrel stabilizer for his R301. Also, that for him as well, he may have been watching the angle with the scout. The chances of you getting a kill with the scout from there basically either means your opponent is going to be challenging you for way too long, or you have to just pop him in the head multiple times, because the scout nowhere near as much damage as some of the other snipers in the game.
But that brings up an interesting point, because we do see the G7 Scout quite often. And I'm curious, I don't know if you have some insights onto this. Pick the G Scout over, say the triple take, or any other long range snipery effect?
I think like there's the possibility of just not finding one of the others, or also just the fact that you're able to fire way more quickly. I think the fire rate, if you're good enough and you can just hit multiple headshots in a row, it's not that much of a detriment, and also it's not that much of sort of a risk, because if you miss with say the longbow or the triple take, you have a few seconds where your opponent can just rush onto you and try and do some damage. Either way, we are going to see a little bit of a battle in close range quarters. The Wraith just going to be running around portal to portal, just try and basically bounce back and forward. And you can see it's definitely not going past the Knights. They are going to be pushing forward to try and take this battle. A bit of a risk, but they want this position.
Ooh. Getting into this with a nice initial. Yeah. It looks like we're going to have yet another third, fourth, fifth party effect happening here. Missing so many shots with this triple take, and that's a little bit unfortunate, but he does have a good angle here. Oh, gets the shot through the window. 21 damage. That's not too bad. Purple armor, unfortunately, and of course, they are going to be able to heal that up quite quickly. Interesting that he did manage to get that shot. It was a bit of a blind shot.
Oh, now they're forced into the open as well. This is the chance to really catch them off, but they are going to be able to escape. Unless one of them may have actually gone down. We're seeing a lot of damage done. TSM also picking up some kills along the way, and still teams try to rotate forward. Actually quite early. Like I would say they've got plenty more time, but they want to get involved on these fights. Door going to be closed again, but you can see Real is going to be going, I'm not reading the rest of his name, I've decided against it, is going to try and hit the shots through the top of the door.
Okay, I hadn't even noticed that. Thank you for pointing that out. That's quite tickling. Looks like these guys are going to be going in for a strong aggression. We're going to be swapping over here to the team that is possibly going to be aggressed upon. Looking quite low here. Must be low on meds. You do have that lifeline, so it is a little bit weird that they haven't, done any healing at all. If you get aggressed on here, you're going to be in a pretty bad position.
I think they're not in too much trouble at the moment, especially because the rest of the team fairly healthy. So the Knights are going to be able to heal back up, not use any of their meds, as you mentioned. It will just be a little bit coming in, and damage is going to start coming in. Butsy, he's going to be hitting them from behind, looking to try and do the damage. But he knows that there's other players up above as well that he has to be careful about. Doesn't want to get pincered in. That's one of the big problems we've seen early in this game, is just being caught out by multiple different teams. And you can see Butsy just going to be looking backwards and forwards, trying to find the hole.
Trying really hard here to maintain those angles, because obviously you don't want to get fired on from behind, but obviously concerned about what's happening ahead of him. And it's a little bit of a dangerous position to be in. He might need to do a little bit of a rotation, but for the time being, they do actually seem fairly safe. And my stream's frozen.
Yeah, same. Either that or he's very, very focused.
Hey, but there we go. Maybe he was just really focused. We'll go with that.
We're back with Butsy. He does have himself a nice little duo of weapons here. The stabilizer on the sniper is not ideal, but we've seen him hit most of the shots anyway, and with the wingman alongside it. The only real worry is if they do get a little bit closer. Of course, you can spam that wingman, but can be a little bit more of a miss. We can see more healing from the Knights. That's been the big thing that we've seen from them this game, actually. It's just been healing in the corner, but hey, they're right back up to full HP again, full armor as well. So the fact is, as long as none of the players are actually finished off or killed, this doesn't really matter too much for them. The only real problem is the next ring. That's where they're going to have to move, and that's where there are teams waiting to take them down.
I'd say a problem is that we always swap onto them when they like they clearly they peek their heads out and they nearly get them blown clean off, and we're like, oh, there might be a fight, so we swap, and then all we see
Oh,
is
here
then
we go.
hey, there we go, a fight is happening. Nope,
They're going to run
through
away.
the portal.
And you can see Butsy a little bit confused by what's just gone on. His opponent's running in, going through the Wraith portal. Definitely not worth it for them. They don't know what's going to be on the other side. And actually, right behind them, there's a couple of players as well. So they have to be very careful. They are in that pincer spot that we've mentioned so frequently. Teams behind them, teams in front of them. And although that Wraith portal may seem like a bit of an escape, I can almost guarantee that the opposing side are just waiting on the other side of that portal.
Oh yeah, they have been camping out that portal, just waiting for somebody to aggress through. And now what I like from these guys is they are camping out the ooh, such good shots. Camping out this entrance to bunker, knowing that teams are going to have to rotate through here. And of course, with this powerful sniper doing so much damage, it's really helping out with making sure that they can try and get some teams down before they move in. They've still got a whole minute to hold out before they even need to start heading towards the inner circle. So these guys looking pretty good at the moment, and I think they are going to be aggressing onto whoever it was that was down there, or possibly just trying to find a better angle on them, because they're hungry for this kill.
Yeah, want to make sure that they can at least clear one of the sides. They don't want people coming in from behind them and being the piggy in the middle. And they know how much damage they've done as well. That's the one thing that really helps with this game, is the damage indicators. You don't get stuff like this in other games. The sniper not really connecting. I do wonder how much of that's down to the fact that the stock on it is so low. They haven't found anything more to sort of stabilize it a little bit more, which I think would help Butsy out quite significantly. But they're now going to make their way forward further, try and get control of that ring, force their opponents to sort of run towards them, if anything. They've even left a portal up in case they do need to escape, and they're in a good position here.
And now it's just all about rotating. They want to try and get to the seam. Nice shot from the peacekeeper, from the wingman. Doesn't have the digital threat though, so the smoke is a bit of an issue. Now they're just gonna have to wait out here for the smoke to clear, or for the enemy team to just Leroy their way out of there. But I don't think that is what's going to happen. A lot of shots are going to be coming from the direction of the smoke, and they're just going to camp out here and wait, because again, they're hungry for these kills. They're not about the waiting game. They just want to get some people down and make it a little bit easier once they get to that final ring.
Yeah, I think the decision to push is also because they're being shot through the gap in the chasm as well. So they really need to remove one of these teams, and fast. And that seems to be what they're doing already. One player dropped, a heavy damage shot coming out from that wingman. And this should just be the finish. They have got a player down. They need to close the last member of this squad. And the problem is now the ring pushes in. Luckily, they do have enough HP. They do have the lifeline as well to get that speedy revive back in. And now, well, they have enough time to maybe do a little bit of looting, but they also need to get their healing on.
Oh, that's so much ring damage. That's really unfortunate. I mean, at this point, you know, the ring is going to just eat through your HP. So hopefully they do survive. But in the meantime, we're going to be back on these knights, and two of them are down. No!
It's good night, you could say.
Hey. That's moving swiftly along. It looks like the Wraith is not going to make it out of the zone. Oh my word. So this lifeline, this is actually quite huge. Lifeline healing up as much as possible, running into the zone, going to get some peeps up, and run back out into the... Are they just going to be playing?
Yeah, he's gone down again. Oh no, and they're getting pincered in. This is the team from earlier, I think. They may have been around the bunker, going to come pushing in around towards the chasm, and Butsy's just got to try and survive, but he's being pushed from all angles. That will be the end of the team, and the victor there was actually the ring. You got to be careful when you're getting pushed from behind, because I think two of their players ended up dying just from the ring.
And that's the thing though, because so they went in for that revive, and they used the heal bot drone for a little bit, and they tried to get out of the zone after taking down those teams. And I thought this was quite clever. Like you raise the person up, and then they run a little bit, and they go down to the zone, and then you go back in, and you raise them up, and you go out, and they die to the zone, and that was kind of the plan, to just keep doing that. But then another team arrived. It just kind of
Yeah.
foiled that plan entirely. So yes, getting taken down, quite unfortunate. There 10 squads left. We are in ring 4. And it's nice to see somebody getting some shots here with this G7 scouts.
Yeah, trying to do the damage in from range, but yet to really catch anyone out. We've seen a lot more action in the early game of this map, and just look at the position of the ring. That is almost definitely going to end up in the open. There's a lot of trees and stuff around, and actually, there we go. The G7 Scout is going to manage a down on Doma as well. They are just catching these players as they look to actually cross in. The problem is, however, they may eventually have to move. I think they're okay for quite a while, though, still within the edges of the ring. This is sort of the place that you want to be if you can't gain some real control. The scout spam not quite doing any damage, though, and I think their opponents may just be able to escape here, although they're actually pushing towards them. And that's going to be a nice shot coming out. Doma, again, doing a lot of damage, help from his teammates as well. And they're just sat here on their perch with an overview of the rest of the teams.
And it's interesting that that team is aggressing forward because they had better ring positioning. They could have just chilled out there and not peeked or tried to run across. So a little bit, yeah, sure, why not? And these guys are looking pretty good themselves. Doma and his team, they've got a nice high ground here with some decent cover, and it helps with the angles they need to watch. Right? You don't need to watch like a whole 360 view. You can just ooh. Another pincer situation here.
Oh, the grenade. How much damage is the grenade going to do? Because I just love watching it at this point. I don't think it actually did that much. They must have jumped down, but the problem is they're going to be forced in. The ring will now push everybody together once again. Not as many teams as last time. It's not 14, but there are still 8 teams standing and 22 members between them. You look how small that circle is and how many people are going to try and fit into such a small space. And, well, we know that there's about to be a brawl.
There's going to be an absolute bloodbath. We're going to be going to destroy this door here, possibly. Oh, no, there we go. Waiting for the door to open. The Arcstar misses the door. But as the team starts funneling out, they just get absolutely mowed down. And it is just this Wraith left. But is the Wraith actually... The Wraith downs the Pathfinder. We're going to see a lot of nades coming through here. But more teams are arriving. Once again, in that 4, 5, 6 party situation. Eliminated by Otter. Let's go. He is the last man standing on his team. A little bit unfortunate here because that was quite an intense battle. A nade comes through here, and he's got a wingman and an EV8, and that's not too bad. The EV8 can really help in those close quarter combat areas, and of course the wingman, if you're
he's found the sweet spot. He's found the sweet spot. That is beautiful.
But they
Round the
found
corner. He may have actually gone down to the ring in the end. Like that was just that little bit of extra damage that he walks back into. It looked like he got it perfect, but whoever his opposition was, bang on, just knew exactly where he was in that little corner, and well, he's going to be down and out.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate there from Otter. I think the whoever it was that knew he was in that room would have known that that was kind of the only place he could go. And this is now another team with just 2 people. Could you not? There we go. We're going to be swapping over here to Repsy. Looks like this is Team THC. I do quite like the name there. They are in this itty bitty circle here. We're down to the last 3 squads. And this is another one of those positions where it's like, where is everyone? The ring is so small. And where are the rest of the teams? Clearly quite close by because there was the frag grenade that came through there. And Lifeline taking a lot of damage here. Is that Bubba Ramsey?
Hell of a lot of damage currently going on. And well, they're actually going to be pincered in from behind. They've lost themselves. The Mastiff actually coming into play as well, which, well, one of my favorite weapons in the game, at least. There's a reason it's gold, and they're losing players left, right, and center. The team will go down, and we're now into our top 3 teams remaining. The points are starting to be gathered. They'll be getting some of them as well, so that's at least something. They've got themselves in the points, but we're now looking to see if we can find that W. DD got himself gold and everything, which is nice, and the perfect position to try and find the kill. He does a lot of damage onto his opponent, and there's going to be another team somewhere, so even just forcing them into the open can help them get those points. It doesn't matter if you're the one to get the kill, although he is up to 7, so definitely in a good space here with his teammate back alive. Lost one member of the team earlier on, but he's going to be looking to get a little bit more aggressive. He wants to up those stats. Completely unnecessary, as we've already mentioned. But if he can gain a little bit of control of the ring, get himself into a good spot, maybe he can finish off these remaining players. But instead, he's going to be the one taking the majority of the damage. Has to try and escape. Wants to get back to his teammate to give him a little bit of extra help. And although they are in the ring, it is just going to be down to this last second brawl. And I believe they've just lost it.
They did indeed. So much damage coming through there. He was watching that high ground to try and catch out the lifeline that was up there, but the lifeline was doing so much damage from above, and he just couldn't get away. And it looks like these guys are our champions for this game 2.
Yeah, and I think you sort of look at the stats, even for the team that managed to finish 6th, obviously just outside the points, but one of them did 14 damage. So it sort of says it all that you can finish this high up in the game without actually doing anything, just hiding, using your positioning well. I'm hoping at some point, for obvious reasons, we will get the ability to sort of count the kills. It's quite difficult with the current setup and the server setup, but once custom servers are properly announced, it will be much better for people who are good at getting those high frag numbers, but maybe finish 6th.
Absolutely. And that it will bring us to the end of our game 2. We will be back very shortly for game 3. So please, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a little bit. Welcome back, everybody. Apex Pro League EU. This is season 3, week 2, day 5. And yeah, we are moving into match 3. And things have been pretty heated up over the last couple of games. We've seen some very interesting fights. And again, we spoke a little bit earlier about the fireworks and nades, and we didn't see too much of that in the last game. So hopefully, we'll get a little bit more exciting action as we move into this third match.
Yeah, I think the first map, the ring, definitely helped significantly because there were quite a few buildings around where the ring eventually centered. Whereas in the last map, quite open space. So we actually got some very early battles and teams like sort of taking high and low ground to see if they could get themselves the early picks. But we are going to be going right into this one already. R99 Peacekeeper, not a bad start to the
Ooh,
game. We are actually going to
that's
be
actually a
switching straight off of this.
Yeah, that loadout you mentioned earlier is actually one of the more popular ones here. But we're going to be swapping to Dimson here because it looks like he may have already encountered someone running the RE45 and the triple take, which of course is the best loadout in the game. Don't at me. All right, he has swapped off the RE45 for the R99, so I am happy to see that. The R99 in the right hands, of course, can be an absolute laser and can do tons and tons of damage. So ultimately, a very good choice. Of course, he does have some fantastic shielding there. The rest of his team looking pretty good as well. So let's just see how. Oh, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, maybe it's just me, but I'll wait until there's a golden stabilizer on it before I really get too hyped about the R99. But I'm sure these guys have slightly better recoil control than I do, which is obviously going to help them out quite a bit. Like I'm pretty good, but yeah, they're probably a little bit better. And well, you can see the escape plan. Oh, but there's someone in the portal already. I think that was actually just because his teammate was still going through, so there's been a bit of a mistake, and it's going to be the push coming in from the Pathfinder looking to just ruin their day, and I think that's exactly what they've done. It's going to be onto the final teammate whose name is very difficult. What's that? AZP3CT?
Aspect?
Oh god,
Probably
that actually just hurt my brain.
It's Leet, man.
That is I remember when I was 12 as well, but you know.
Wow, that's toxic. And Aspect is still alive. Yeah, he tried to go for the revive on the Wraith, but unfortunately he got caught out quite quickly. And I think the team have given him the all clear to get the hell out of there. Go on
If he
without me.
can.
Shout into the comms, but yes, he's taking tons of damage. He's down to like 30% HP.
I just love seeing the teammate just teleport across the wall just using the portal from before, but I don't think there's going to be any save. Now we're going to go back to Butsy.
And
saw
this
him in
is
the previous
exactly
game.
firing at them, yeah.
Seems like they've been having a cracking game so far, but ultimately they still need to finish off this final member. Otherwise, there's still the possibility of a retrieval and revival of these remaining couple of players. And he's actually going to spot one of them out.
And somehow that Wraith, unfortunately, still down there. I don't think. It does go down completely. They might be able to recover the banner, but there's probably no chance of a res, which is a little bit unfortunate. But he's still alive here. Pathfinder looking safe as well. These guys are really trying to just get out of this line of fire. It was quite a kerfuffle back there. They do manage to take down that other team, but they had to get the hell out of there as quickly as possible. If they'd stuck around any longer, they probably would have died.
Yeah, got a fairly decent weapon stack from them. The only problem is an R301 and an R99 that's going to be shredding bullets in seconds. So, and in the longer range battles, it might be a little bit more difficult. But by the looks of it, Butsy's just looking to stay in the corner, stay back, not give anybody the time of day, and sort of watching over towards his teammates' banner. We've seen this an awful lot where I know that in like sort of more puggy games, you take higher risks, you go for these banners and try and revive your teammates. In this scenario, you don't really go for that. You just stay back, you sit passive, and while Team T99 have pretty much given us that exact sort of position, you stay as passive as possible, well, they're going to be chilling in the building. They've got the crib, basically.
Hey, chilling like a villain. Not even worried about upping any sort of utility and weaponry and so on. They got a pretty good loadout here, especially Foxy. Obviously, the only one who's loadout we can really see it is the R99 and the Peacekeeper, which is a pretty good combination there. Of course, also not the best stabilizer, but despite that, I think that Foxy can do well. We have cast him previously in this league, so and he does a lot of work. He does some plays fairly well with his team. And with 16 squads left, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to get into fights. That's a lot of teams. And they're going to be holding out in this room, as you mentioned. And as I said previously, it can be a little bit dangerous, but they do have very good ring positioning. They should be good for at least another 2 rings. So not too much concern there in terms of rotational need. They can just kind of camp out here a bit.
Yeah, I think the only slight worry for me is just the amount of ammo. Like, I think especially if you get into the later game with that R99, you are going to be shredding bullets. You can see he's actually just single firing it off into the distance. Like, you're never going to kill anyone like that unless you really are an absolute headshot machine. But I think it's more just the warning shots of, yeah, you come near me and I'm going to shred you down. The rest of the team doing a little bit more scoping out, trying to spot through any of the windows. It's quite a big building and quite a lot of spaces that they can get pincered from. So just going to be a little bit more passive in this scenario. And even with the Peacekeeper, ammo's not the best, but they do have the precision choke to power it up that little bit more.
I'm going to be swapping here back onto Batsy. And yes, their Wraith does go down, unfortunately. So they are going to be going into these next fights 2v the world, really. But not looking too bad off here. It's interesting to see him running the R301 and the R99. We don't see that too often. You usually get a little bit more variety in your guns for different uses. You can get some more close range or long range or whatever, but they're going for pretty standard mid-range type weaponry here. I don't know if it's just a case of not finding another gun or if there really is some logic to this that I'm missing.
The other thing you notice as well is just from what he was actually doing there, which is it limits you with attachments. Having to switch the scope back over from gun to gun just to give you some sight is definitely not ideal. And while losing the team, I think the biggest problem as well is I feel like Wraith, in terms of like the late game battles, is so impactful. Just the ability to avoid damage if grenades come in, you can just pretty much just hold up in your queue and actually going to get pushed, but I don't think whoever that was, well, it's actually Aspect from earlier, the man who survived the battles from before to go down, but I don't think he realized that anybody was back there. Now, if he was the man who actually survived, that means he rezzed the teammate, because he went down. He didn't die instantly, so he managed to actually get some of his teammates back up from earlier. So he's done good work in his survival effort. And he's actually got himself a golden Peacekeeper as well, which I think that may have been spotted by Butsy and is obviously one of the favorite guns in the whole game. So I think they're going to be hunting to get that back.
Yeah, but of course they do know that there is a team coming from that direction, aggressing in on them, and the Pathfinder taking a lot of damage and going quite low here, because there's a second team from behind. It's not the same team, so it looks like they're going to be abandoning that Peacekeeper. Yes, it's a great gun, but being alive is probably worth a little bit more than a golden gun.
I would say being alive is probably worth more than most things, in all honesty. But at least in the game, they're going to be just hoping to try and get themselves the points. And with 16 teams left, taking a battle this early is not going to go well. And even just the survival effort seems a bit of a problem. They're having to run away from the ring. Now, they're not in much trouble just yet. It's only going to start moving in just a moment. You can see it is miles away, not even in the map at the moment for them. So no real problems just yet. The biggest problem, though, is the fact that there's going to be a team waiting at the top, because I highly doubt the team is going to be running away. So either they've got to look for an alternate route, which there kind of isn't one. They're going to have to go a very long way around the map to find themselves another way into that ring. But the fact is that might be their only choice.
Well, with only 15 seconds left, it could be a little bit difficult, and they are going to be running forever, and they don't have that Wraith to create a portal. They can possibly create the Pathfinder zipline, and that might get them somewhere faster. But of course, while you're flying, you're a little bit vulnerable. You don't have that same kind of invulnerability, or not invulnerability, but just making it that little bit more difficult going through a portal. How is there a team here?
That's just bad luck. They've walked into a building they thought would be abandoned, and I think we may be about to see the end of Butsy and Co. because this is a big problem for them. The nade has actually done a lot of damage, though. Maybe Danio can try and at least close out. It may just be a single team. It may be a single member just trying to survive in the background and be a little bit sneaky, like you saw in streams last week. But
In before
ultimately,
scrims.
yeah, this would be a bit of a play and a half if he can manage to finish off both of these players. Purple armor down on the floor. I'm sure that wouldn't go amiss. They have actually managed to heal, but it looks like they may not actually have any shield cells left, which is a big problem. That's half your health gone straight away, and now the ring starts to push in. They don't want to lose the rest.
I suspect that shield, though, might be like empty, quote unquote, and that's why it was dropped. Oh, but the zone is coming in.
Oh,
Pathfinder,
that's one dead.
goes down to the zone. Unlucky. And there's still someone behind firing shots in on him, and he's taking tons of damage from the
He's
shots.
gonna die too. They're both gonna die.
They're both going to die here. There we go. Gets him down and lives. I was about to say dies in the process, but no, he's gonna live. And he can possibly still get that Pathfinder up. He's gonna go further into the zone. Okay, that's certainly a choice. He's gonna take the balloon. Okay, the distance that he ran to get to the zip line. Okay.
Yeah, I think maybe it gives him the option to scope out as well. I think that may be the bigger point for him here. Just try and like fly around a little bit, see if there's anything to spot. He's actually going to go back for the loot of his opponent, which that is high risk. But I suppose with what's currently going on at the moment is a bit of a problem. Going to actually get quite a bit of loot in terms of what he can pick up and actually some healing stuff as well. But has to be fairly careful not to lose any more life. It is also a lifeline, so there is that Q available to him. And he's actually going to opt to heal his shields. I suppose the shields aren't going to go down at any point. So I'm surprised we haven't seen the Q thrown in. But I believe there is a rule about healing and queuing at the same time.
No, but that's only in like zone 5 or 6. This is like circle 3. He's super safe here to use whatever the hell he wants. So it's very interesting that he didn't drop that healing drone and instead is going to be barreling through all of the meds that he has at his disposal. He did leave that Pathfinder to die there, and there was the opportunity to raise him up. So that was an interesting choice. Butsy really making some interesting choices here, keeping things fresh for the stream. And hopefully it's going to pay off, because when you start doing weird things, your opponents kind of don't know what to expect. So maybe that's the idea. Let's just keep everybody on their toes.
I imagine the team that finished them off will have a good idea, though. But it's been such a long time. And you don't know who the opponents have actually like come across in the meantime. They might be battling another team. So he's able to be a little bit more sneaky. I'm sure that this has been spoken about with his teammate. Either that or he might be sitting a little bit more salty currently in the Discord server at the moment. But we'll let that be. It's not our job to fix relationships if things go wrong for the players. Either way.
I like that. Fixing relationships. Can we start like an Apex Tinder? I think that'd be great.
Oh, I was going more along the line of like marriage counseling, but Tinder works too. You know, the place where all love is found.
All love. All love. Anyway, moving along here. So Butsy using a lot more of his utility there, and I do believe there's a Peacekeeper in there, and he's going to stick with the R301 and the R99. He even passed up on a wingman on one of the bodies earlier. So this is clearly a deliberate choice and a decision, although possibly at this late game it might be an ammo thing. Like, well, I've got ammo for these guns, I may as well stick with them.
I mean, he's got 90 bullets. Like, it's not even like he's got a lot of ammo. I think this is a really weird choice, but maybe he's got something in the back of his mind, or they're just his two favorite guns. Like that's the thing. I think one of the things that Apex does quite well is that, okay, sure, there's some weapons that are useless, but the guns that are actually usable are actually fairly balanced. Like, he can get away with this sort of setup. The only thing that worries me about it is the ammo consumption. Like, if he now gets in a couple of battles, sure, he can switch between two SMGs and spray them down. But that's what, 60 of your bullets gone within seconds? Like, then you're in real trouble.
I mean, that's the thing about that rate of fire. You don't actually realize sometimes how many bullets you're using as you spray into your opponent. So this could be a very dangerous situation for him, and he's going to need to find some ammo as quickly as possible. Back here
on still in the same house.
Yeah, dude, they are chilling. Okay, back to Butsy. No. He's been found here, and it seems like all of his amazing decisions have come to naught.
That's it.
Unlucky. Taking out my friend.
Yeah, the thing is, though, the one thing he has given us is a hell of a lot of information about where a lot of the teams are. And unfortunately for them, I think they're about to run into Team T99. They're all going to be coming through that chasm. They'll be waiting on the other side. They have been set up here for about 10 minutes now, just going, can someone please walk through the damn chasm? Oh, please, I want to shoot someone.
Hey, swapping over
Instead,
onto Arthur here. His team are in the middle of a fight. He has managed to, or they have managed to down two, but there is another team just across the way going to be doing a lot of spray damage there, but doesn't have that digital threat, so can't see through the smoke. Oh, wow, there we go. Get the elimination. I think one of the members of his team might have helped with that, or possibly this other team that's now aggressing straight into him. Wraith on a suicide mission there. Take her down fairly quickly. And they're going to try and loot up and hopefully don't get caught out by another team in the process.
yeah, they've managed to gain that as well. And I'm loving the Havoc with the turbocharger on it as well. Like, without that gun is an absolute potato. Like, just hold and pray. But we finally see it. This is the battle we were waiting for. I think they may have been off a little bit more than they can chew, though, as everybody's going to be pushing into this room at once. It is the battle for the building, that holding position bang in the middle of the ring. And where you can see Foxy's getting pincered from all sides. He's burning down to low HP. I think he might be about to fall. There's so many players looking to try and battle for this building at the moment. And his teammates are going to have to try and do the work, desperately attempting to heal. But one by one, they're getting whittled away. And the big problem is now, can they actually do the damage themselves? It looks like they can. They've managed to take down by turn, at least. And the res is actually going to come in.
This is huge. They're actually managing to get the res off. So now Foxy going to be healing up. And this is what I was talking about a little bit when you're staying in one area for so long, you're going to have a ton of teams pushing in on you all at the same time, and that's exactly what happened. We had about 2 or 3 teams here, but it seems that they would survive that, but another team has arrived. They were looting and they weren't healing themselves up, so now this other team is looking for the opportunity to aggress in. It's not looking too good for Foxy and his boys here, although they did manage to survive somehow, down to 8 squads in this itty bitty ring.
Yeah, it seems like all the information has been fed between the trio, and I have to say that seems to be one of the most important things about this game, just getting everything down on paper, knowing where your opposition are, and they're looking for the hunt here to try and find a couple of these remaining players. We're down to 7 squads. The points are just within reach of any of the remaining teams, be it one man standing or the whole trio of this T99 squad looking to try and close out a couple of remaining players, but they actually haven't found too much just yet, and instead we're going to fall into the battle. The Peacekeeper looking to try and do the damage, but has to reload both guns. But actually, whoever was killing him just fell off the roof, so it might give him a little bit of extra time to try and survive this one. He's actually just spotting for his team. I like this, giving all the information over to Mazer, and that's exactly what he does. Just the spotter. You may be down, but you're not out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just because you're useless on the floor doesn't mean you can't be useless in general. And his team will get the revive in on him fairly easily. There's a digital sniper threat in there, but nobody's got a sniper, so that means nothing. And yeah, going to be healing up from this drone here in a fairly good position. 2 squads have been taken out in the last couple of minutes there, and that's a lot of shotgun shells to just drop on the floor. Oh,
Yeah.
sharing ammo. So wait, all 3 of them have a Peacekeeper? Oh, that's cheese. That is actual cheese.
That is beautiful. That is playing the meta. That's exactly what I like to see. That's a very CS-esque thing to do. Just if a gun is overpowered, use it until they change it. And to be fair, that is actually the best way to ever get a gun changed, I might add. If a gun is considered to be ridiculously overpowered, eventually they will change it. But in this sense, I love the gun, so screw it.
Yeah, but I mean that is what makes a meta. And then when a meta gets played for too long, the developers are like, well, ooh, that's a lot of spray there, really good, getting tons of damage, and that's going to chip away at their armor and force them to start using some of their own utility. This might be the time to push, though. I mean, you know he's in there. Go get him, Tiger.
Still waiting for my Mozambique meta. I've been practicing for the last few weeks, ready and waiting for when that gun gets buffed. But for now, it is still a mountain of trash.
By practicing, do you mean that you're one of those guys that pings every single Mozambique in the game?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's why I don't have any friends at this point, I'll be honest. But
I mean, that's fair.
Either way, we are going to have still in the building. They love this little building. T99 have been chilling in here. They've been in here for so long. And the fact is, they've actually got the ring. Like, this is what you call luck of the
Exactly.
draw. They've been bathing in four-leaf clovers, and they are ready
Ooh, that's
for
a
the
lot of
push to
damage
come back
out
in.
in the
And
zone.
the great thing as well is they're screwed. Like, they should be screwed because their opponents are just behind them in the building.
Oh,
And there you go. It is going to be the shots coming out. You can see it was T99 to actually finish him off as well. They have the perfect position here, but they have actually lost one of their members. Again, though, it's just going to be the revive. And it seems that every time that they manage to win a fight, they're not actually punished for it. Teams have tried, but every team has failed.
and that's what I was saying earlier, man. Foxy and his team, they're actually pretty damn good. You know, when we spectated them way earlier and we saw how big the circle was, and I was like, yeah, they're good for like 2 or 3 more circles. Apparently, they're good for like the whole game. These
The
guys are
mind
good.
readers.
They knew they had they did not lack the critical information.
Oh
Oh
my.
my god.
This is dirty. I
Oh, this
like
is
it.
so good. This is the best positioning I've ever seen. And there's an enemy right above them on the, I think on the right-hand side there. And oh,
They
this
are
is so
li-
sneaky.
They're literally the troll under the bridge. Like, that is what they are currently doing. Yeah, we have fallen into fantasy here as the whole team are just geared up to the teeth and just sat underneath. This is perfect. The only problem is, I think one of them, I think HSL might be slightly within the zone. Like, he might just be able to sneak in and hide.
Oh,
And now they're just trying to get it so that the rest of them can actually hide in that corner. Look where he currently is. This is so
oh my
filthy.
god. It's actually ridiculous. But now, I mean, somebody needs to actually like aggress in so that they can utilize. There we go. Now the circle starts to
Yeah, now they
close
have
and
to move. But
and it's
is
going
he
to be a
still?
lot of
Is
they
he
used
okay?
another pathfinder thing. This is so
No,
good.
but look at HSL. He's still under there. He was. Oh, sorry. The green. He was just sat in the corner. He's still up there because it doesn't actually affect him at all. Either way,
Oh,
we're
they're
seeing the
on
rest of the battle.
Samsung.
Yeah, Samsung looking to try and hold this position. One teammate down. 4 kills to his name already, and there's taking the battle in the house. I think this might be against that deadly T99 again. They've been the aggressors within this house. This is their hut, and there's all left onto Leo to try and hold on here. But now, actually, you can see the aggression coming in from the remaining opponents as well, who are sat below. They now want in on the action, and the hunt is coming for these remaining players.
Leo Deads has hightailed it out of there. I think that's him crouching up on the roof there as the rest of his team goes down. We'll be back on. I don't know. You can't be looting, my friend. There's 4 teams left. You got to get in on that action. And he's got that wingman ready and available. Oh, he wants to get the res off, but it's such a dangerous position to be in. Force is going to provide him a little bit of cover, though, cover fire to help and make sure that they can actually get the Bangalore up. A lot of gold stuff getting caught here or getting found here, getting that golden peacekeeper and, of course, the golden helm as well. Now they're going to be looking a lot better here. We're up to 3rd place position where there are only 3 teams left, one of them being that T99 team that has been absolutely dominating throughout this series. I'm not sure which the other team is. I don't know if we've seen them.
Well, I wonder if T99 have actually survived, if they're on the roof somewhere, or if they've just moved. We're going to see the push coming in, looking to try and find some of these remaining players still within the ring at the moment, and they actually get this little hut all to themselves, which is currently still within the ring. Obviously, with the next ring movement, it goes until nothing. You're going to be pincered right into the corner. That's where we might see some nade stacks thrown in just to try and blast these remaining players. The only problem is we don't actually have any nades on HSL, so they can't actually do too much in this scenario unless the remaining teammates have an abundance that they've just been hiding. Instead, now the ring moves and now everybody moves with it. It is going to be the shots coming through, and it is HSL to actually finish off Samsung. Instead, it's just going to be the last man standing, or at least 2. No, wait, there's still J8 as well. BT Power, and we must have actually lost T99 somewhere in the battle. I think they may have actually finished them off.
Well done, Otter. And that's actually the first win that we've gotten to spectate for Team HSL. We have actually watched them a couple of times throughout the league, and it's really nice to see them finally get that win. And I think they're going to be feeling pretty good about themselves right now. So well played there, guys. The positioning of all of the teams in those last couple of fights was actually so much fun to watch, particularly from Team 99. I think this was a good match overall.
Yeah, either way, we will be heading off to a short break. But we will have ourselves another game coming up shortly.
Welcome back, everybody. Apex.Pro EU League Season 3, Week 2, Day 5. We're going to be starting this round off with Krems, somebody that we've spectated quite a bit over the last little while, somebody that we've memed on quite hard, and he does enjoy those memes, but here's the best meme. We're going to swap straight off of him onto Alex W, who seems to have caught himself in a little bit of a kerfuffle here.
You've been kind of wrecked there, haven't you? Had a little bit of spew planned for the flare we were going to originally, and well, now we're on Alex, who's going to be leaping his way around the map looking for those early drops. He's got a hemlock, which I personally don't like, but I know that there are some people with laser precision who can hit themselves the shots. There you go. That was one of them there. Just a little pop shot out. We are going to see some nades thrown in as well. Of course, grenades are king in this game.
Hell yeah.
As of yet, weaponry, it's not great at the moment, I would say.
Well, it is still early days, and given that it is early days, we're down to 17 squads already, which is quite incredible. And we're going to see if we're going to bring it down to 16 as the Rolling Thunder comes out from the enemy team. But it seems like Alex W and his boys do seem to survive the onslaught. Nice damage coming through here with the triple take. Doing very well, but not quite enough to get that armor down. Oh,
Ooh.
big headshot. Let's go. If he can keep that up. Wraith is going dangerously low, though. He needs to get out of there as quickly as possible. And that's it. Was that a Gibraltar ult with a Bangalore ult?
I don't know. Either that or there's another Bangalore around somewhere to throw another one. I'd be very interested to see if there is someone running about as a Gibraltar. It's not one of the common characters, I would say. I think it's normally the three that we currently have on your screen, maybe a Bangalore thrown in there as well for the smoke exits. Other than that, those are sort of the four players I've seen. This triple take is doing mad damage at the moment. So much done already. Still in the fight, though. Teammate down as well. Needs to be revived, but it looks like they're already going for that. There's another team around the area as well, however.
Yeah, but they've got Alex up here with that triple take for some suppressive fire. And of course, he does hit his shots. Stock or no stock. We can't even use that as an excuse. He is absolutely dominating right now, doing quite a lot of damage. And it looks like they are going to go for a retreat, which I think is probably the best idea. Going to get into that little compound there across the way. Oh, look at these shots.
No stock, no precision choke, but it doesn't seem to matter. It just got incredible aim. Doesn't even have like a longer range scope as well. Just seeing things that I can't see, and I don't even have to really watch the screen for danger at the moment. So he's definitely he's got his ridiculous hertz monitor. He's got his settings primed, and he's spotting everything.
I see he's got a ton of ammo for that triple take as well. He is expecting to be using that quite a lot. And we're going to be swapping over onto Crip here, who's running a G7 Scout. And his team is pretty low. They're still trying to come in from the zone, but there is another team just across the way going to be applying a little bit of damage into him. He does manage to get away. Oh, they're engaging. And that's Alex W. We were just on them, and now they've run straight into Crip's team here. And that's quite dangerous. Crip and his boys are pretty good, but having taken quite a bit of damage from the zone already, this does put them in a very precarious position. And let's see if Alex W does decide to push in, or if they rather go for a little bit of a longer rotation to avoid this all-out brawl.
Yeah, a little bit worrying that we're already having to see shield cells juggled around. It probably means that health-wise they're not in the best scenario at the moment. And I think that's why they're not going to overface in this challenge. You can see the fallback has come in from Alex W. Still looking to try and do some damage onto the players up above, as they do want to try and push this a little bit further forward. If they can just section off this team, steal themselves some loot. Hopefully not the best grapple in the world. He gets a little bit stuck, but still going to be pushing forward, really wanting to try and take these fights.
Going quite aggressive here. I don't know if he's... Oh my goodness, Wraith going down, and that's really unfortunate. Oh, with the takedown. Nicely played, and now he's going to be pulling out that hemlock because he knows there is another team around, and the triple take is in go. Oh, like these guys don't even let me finish my sentence, and they get those kills off. I like their skins as well. You know, got some camouflage going on here, and that I think that does actually help, because very often if you've got skins that are a bit too bright, you can get seen from a little bit further away. So tactical armor or skins, I like it.
Yeah, we all know skins equals wins. That is what I've learned. But they also cost money, so be careful.
I mean,
Be very careful. Don't make yourself bankrupt. Definitely don't spend the amount of money I have on skins because that's a dangerous thing to do. But luckily,
that's a mood.
these guys have managed to escape. And in the meantime, we are going to switch things over.
Ooh,
Crip doing a hell of a lot of damage with that scout. That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's the spam ability. That's what I'm going to call it. Just able to rack off those shots again and again. The nade also doing extra damage, and his teammate just running in to try and help with the finish. A little bit of extra health going to be healed before they go for this push. Not wanting to take too many risks, but they will just slowly finish off this remaining team. And that was clinical by the guys. Crip and Co. just doing all the damage.
And that's what I was saying earlier as well about Crip. He's such a good player. I mean, the absolute spray down from that G7 scout from not very far away. I mean, he was blatantly out in the open, and he didn't miss a shot. And I mean, he's at it again with the headshot and some nice follow up. Look at the dude. Dude is a god. Oh no,
he's been caught from behind though. Yeah, that's the big problem. They've been stuck in the middle. The bullets have been heard from miles away, and now they're getting pincered from both sides. I don't think they actually managed to finish off the man in front of them as well. So now they're sort of in a horrible situation. He's hoping that his teammates can come in to save him, and he's spotting his opponents. Now, this is the one thing you have to do when you're down. Gather information. He's got that purple shield. He's not in any real danger unless, of course, they manage to somehow get around it or get within punching distance. Although I think he just missed one of the players running out the outside of the building. There's the tag. That's what I was waiting for. Give the information over to your team. Now he's in a safe position. They could realistically get him back in, and the ring isn't going to move any further, or is it? Oh no, it is. It's actually going to be going a lot further. I thought I thought I saw a white ring, but clearly I'm blind. So they're going to be kind of screwed here. They need to not only res him, but they need to actually make sure they stay alive themselves.
Well, it looks like they are possibly going to be able to get this res off, because with the lifeline down, that's quite dangerous as well. So that he's going to need to hightail it into that ring as quickly as possible before he takes too much damage. Luckily, we are at the point where the ring doesn't do tons and tons and tons. But no, Wraith is going down, and he goes down as well. No, it looks like that could be the end. Wait, what's going on?
One of them must have had a golden shield. The resurrection shield must have been there, but it doesn't matter. They're going to be finished off, and now we go back to Alex, who is going to push towards the canyon, look to try and take the fight within, and the headshot as well. 81 damage coming in from the wingman. Looking to try and do that a little bit more. They're on for the chase. They want to close this team out as they get further and further forward. They know they've done the damage. They know they have them on the back foot. Their opponent's just throwing out as many grenades as they can, trying their best to survive. But Alex just not missing a shot. He's caught a little bit with the reload, however. Has to be careful, but well, it doesn't even seem to matter here. Every single shot just connecting, and he gets all of them.
Are you human? Like, if I didn't see him miss shots, I'd be calling aim hacks. I swear. If we weren't watching his POV and we could clearly see that there was no way that he could possibly be hacking, I would be like, what are you, dude? You're an actual god. He barely misses any of those shots. It's so, like, he's just so good. And it seems he has swapped out that triple take. Thank you. That's the word. And he swapped out that triple take for the longbow instead. And as we know, the longbow has had quite a bit of a buff recently, and it's a lot stronger than it was before. We've been seeing teams running that a lot more recently. And I mean, if he can hit shots with the longbow as the way he has been with that triple take, if you can get those 110 damage headshots consistently, then damn, you're going to put yourself and your team in a really good position coming into with what is 8 squads left to go.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of teams dropped fairly early in this one. We've seen more squads than that going into the final circle. So yeah, my favorite thing about that is he doesn't even have a skull piercer. So the amount of damage he was doing was just purely based off not missing a shot, and just really showing the power of that wingman. Like, there's a lot of people that, at least before, where you could sort of spam it, but they sort of made it a little bit trickier, at least for the average Joe. But for guys like Alex, it's pretty much the same old wingman.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't changed too much, you know. If you can hit those shots, you're going to still be doing tons and tons of damage. Oh, no, he doesn't manage to dodge the nade.
That's his own nade.
Oh, my Lord.
I'm pretty sure that clipped the wall.
Do you know what? I think he was trying to give the enemy team a handicap. He's like, okay, cool, guys. I'm going to throw this nade at myself. And while that's happening, yeah, they didn't push in. So now these guys are going to run away. Like, I gave you the chance. You didn't take it. Yeet. See you later.
Yeah, no real reason either. The ring is not up the top of that hill. They can easily maneuver around it. We sort of spoke about it in the game earlier where there was nowhere for the other team to go. Like they had to sort of run back in. But in this situation, the ring's still fairly big. There's not really any benefit to pushing in and taking that battle. Okay, sure, maybe you can get it down to 7 squads, but if you lose that fight, you're out of the game with
Hmm.
no points.
Exactly. And again, the last thing you want to be doing is not having points because there is a great prize pool up for grabs here, thanks to Battalion, that $1,000 prize pool, which will be split amongst the top 3 teams. Finally, these guys have something concrete to be playing for. So, really, positioning has always been important in this league, but now more than ever, you need to be making sure that you don't go down early. You don't take those fights unnecessarily.
Well, already firmly in position within the ring. Also, a drop coming in as well for Tempo Storm. So they're very well positioned for this future ring. You can see they're waiting to see if anybody's going to actually come pushing in towards them. Golden stabilizer on the R99. It's basically a laser at this point. They're
Yep.
not bullets firing out. It's going in a straight line wherever you aim. And that's scary enough when someone like me uses the gun. When someone from Tempo Storm uses it, I don't want to be on the other end of that gun. I'm just going to put it that way. So definitely well equipped. Armor could be a little bit better, but with the weaponry they have, I don't think they're going to be worrying too much.
Yeah, no, these guys are in a ridiculously good position here. They are holding out here in artillery a little bit, waiting to see if they can catch some teams off guard. They're going to start a slow rotation, very slow. I mean, they are kind of in the circle here, and you can see, look at the positioning of this last circle, or where the circle is clearly converging on. There's very little space to actually move. Once the circle closes out, they're going to be forcing a lot of people out of hiding. There's nowhere to hide once the ring closes. I mean, you can go into that little alleyway, but there aren't like buildings or various places to hide out. So it's an interesting area that the ring's going to be closing in.
I love just watching the bullet drop on this gun when when it has that golden stabilizer. It is absolutely minuscule, and you can see Decop just going to be pushing right in, already managing to finish off one member of North and looking for a little bit more, going with the Peacekeeper as well, slightly missing the shots, but he gets away with it anyway and just going to retreat back, get out of there, and let the team do the rest of the work because they haven't taken any damage at all. Decop doing so much to help them out in this position, and while I imagine that will mean at least another team dropping to the deck.
As he used his uh what's that thing called? I want to say slider. Why do I want to say slider? What is that thing called? His grapple. Hey, as he was using that to get away, all I had in my mind was that meme that like my work here is done jetpack. Quickly kill 3 people and zoom. My work here is done. I'm doing really well to protect. Oh my lord, getting shots from so far away. And this is kind of reminiscent of Alex W as well. And that just goes to show, I mean, these guys, they're not called pros without reason, and they're holding at quite a good place here. They've got a bit of a high ground. They can watch where teams are going to be coming in from the other side, and of course they can also watch where teams will be coming in from within the circle. And I think they suspect that not too many teams will be coming in from the circle itself, because I mean, if you're in there, then you don't have too much reason to leave just yet. So they're going to be looking for teams trying to make movements into where they are right now, and going to be getting quite a lot of damage off as well in the process, chipping away at the utility of enemy teams. And it looks like he's going to go for an aggressive push here.
Yeah, not wanting to allow them to be surrounded, so going to try and take some control, force them to play towards them. Spray down coming in. And just remember, he's down to just 78 bullets, so has to be a little bit careful here that he doesn't run out of ammo. I'm sure if he gets this kill off, there'll be plenty to be retrieved. Obviously, giving all of the information over to his teammate as well. They have the purple armor, they have the positions, and they clearly have the weaponry already. But now I start to look at that ammo a little bit and think, okay, he's only actually got 1.5 clips left to try and take this fight. Might want to try and get a little bit closer with the Peacekeeper. And in the meantime, we can see the battle going on with a wingman. Again, it's Alex just doing supreme work with this gun. A fantastic day for him so far in this matchup. And, well, again and again, it seems to be him doing the work, and actually, it's his teammate getting the loot.
And we see Decop from Tempo go down, unfortunately, as we swap back onto him. And that's pretty dangerous. I mean, this is the dude that's been, hitting his shots. We are going to see Wraith come through nice with the portal.
I love
so
that.
he can portal. Oh, so good. That's teamwork, man.
Oh, he's going to run through, though.
No ways. Oh, they get her down. Oh man, that was so spicy. No, the Pathfinder from behind
There's
takes
more
down the
players.
yeah, this is a third
Oh,
party fight. There are at least 3 teams here that are fighting amongst one another, and they're going to be chasing down that Bangalore because if the Bangalore goes down, then Tempo Storm is out of the running here. Bangalore trying to heal up. And we are going to see Decop getting back to the Bangalore. Hopefully, going to be able to get that res off. Sneaky, sneaky. Don't be too loud. But, oh, no, there's a nade. Oh, no, that's the smoke. Okay, that's fine. Although, I mean, I feel like the smoke gives away your positioning as well. Like, oh, guys, what's that big cloud of smoke over there? Let's go check it out.
yeah, the thing is as well, there's only one corner he can be in. This has not gone well for Tempo Storm. It's all onto a set. He's on minuscule HP, just surviving in the corner. And as you sort of mentioned, the smoke has more given things away. Now they've managed to at least down one. It is the man that was literally just revived seconds ago. Assert just trying to get some HP back, but there goes the nades. They know exactly where he is. This is going to be so much damage being done, but it's actually done to the player who's down. The body shield that he's using, the knockdown shield, is actually saving his teammate. This is all just the sacrifice coming in as they give Assert the position, basically, to try and survive. Unfortunately, I don't know if he's actually still alive. Obviously, we've lost one man in the form of his teammates, but I think he may have fallen as well.
Yep, unfortunately, he does fall as well. Now we're going to be swinging over here to local Q. And these guys are in that little alleyway that we saw earlier, the little cavernous area moving in towards artillery. So a fairly good position. But of course, as they come out, they are going to be coming into these teams that. Wait, is this a different? Is this a different game or is this just like really delayed?
Uh, Yeah, I'm sure because the battle was coming in the artillery. Yeah, so this is a completely different position altogether. We are going to go back into Alex, who is right in the thick of it. He's going to be the one fighting it out. He's been so good in this game so far. 4 kills to his name, and I'm sure some of them have been stolen by teammates as well. There's plenty more where that came from. Only 3 squads remain. He's trying his best to just hide out the back of the zone, not quite taking any damage, and will be able to full heal. A slight chance to actually steal some loot as well before they go back into the battle, and a juicy sniper picked up as well to try and do some extra damage. The question is, can they now take this game?
Well, that is the important question. With 3 teams left, and they are hiding out in this little alleyway area, and they're going to need to try and find out where the enemy teams are. And as we know, they're going to be very close by. This last minute frantic looting to try and get your weapon as powerful as humanly possible before the enemy team start to aggress in on you. And he is looking pretty good here in terms of loot, but these last minute decisions, it's like, they're going to be on you any second and you're still busy doing this.
It just got rid of the longbow as well. You can see the position of the ring. I think that's a very smart decision. Get that R99 in hand. Get all the attachments that thankfully your enemies have looted for you, so you don't have to go hunting. You can just sit there and pick them up off their corpses. It's obviously a very friendly thing to do. But we are now just going to watch to see whether or not Alex can actually clutch this one out. He's got his teammates alongside him. Golden armor alongside the 2 purples. Ults being thrown left, right, and center. And this is where the grenades start to go in because that ring is so small. There's only a few places they can be. And they're going to be forced further into the circle.
And with the digital threat, it's going to be huge because you can see them coming from a mile away and get a good aiming position on them. And where is this last team? They're hiding out somewhere. They're probably hiding out in the zone, and they've been lobbing some grenades in. Oh, they get a nice little bit of damage there onto that wraith. Oh, what? That was so good. What a great position to be hiding in, and already they managed to take down this Pathfinder. Alex W goes down, the Wraith goes down, or the Lifeline goes down, and it's just the Wraith left. Full armor, half armor, such low HP, but the whole enemy team is still alive. It's not looking good for Alex W. Wraith actually heals up, but still taking so much damage, down to 1 HP. Can you clutch it out? Are you actually going to get the heal off? Is this happening?
He is. And sliding forward as well. And he's actually going to finish this off. What a great clutch coming out from the Wraith there from the team. And it is actually going to be the second time now that we witness the victory coming out from the team that we're actually pursuing all the way through the game. Alex goes from strength to strength, but it's actually Jazz who's the one to close out the game. And a fantastic play from him, just managing to survive around. And you can see actually it's the Lifeline, 12 kills. But Alex, 4 kills, 1,500 damage. I think that's one of those moments where you go, yeah, I think you nicked some of those, mate.
Absolutely huge. Such a good play there from that Wraith. Wow. Taking so much damage and still managing to survive and get the last person down. Uh, I don't know about you, Tombizz, but I need to just take a moment, take a breath. So, what we're going to do is we're going to throw it to a break and we'll be back very shortly for game 5. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. Apex Pro League EU. This is game 5 of the day. and
Oh,
yeah,
hold it
this is our
together. Come
second
on.
last game. I'm really trying, but our producer is trying to make me laugh, and it's working.
Our unnamed producer
Unnamed
who
producer.
loves boxes of whales.
It's fine. Just go exclamation mark casters. You'll know who our
No,
producer is.
exclamation mark box of whales. We'll get it
Pygmy.
all done.
All right, so coming into this fifth game, second last game of the evening, we've had some really good games thus far, and hopefully we will continue on that streak. All these teams playing for that sweet, sweet $1,000 prize pool donated by Battalion. Thank you very much for that.
Did he
Yeah,
just
beginning
tab
of the
out?
game. What?
I swear he just tabbed out. His screen went off for a second. I'm not taking this very seriously. I'm sure that I'm almost certain he tabbed out for a second there.
Wait, who?
It's like, give me a
Benny
sec,
or the
guys.
player?
No, Czar, yeah. I'm
Oh
because
my
his screen,
lord.
like the light went off his screen and he stopped moving for a sec. So I'm almost certain that he just took a second to tab out. So yeah, let's
I mean, you
get
know
off him. We've had enough of that. Pay attention.
What's all this then?
Yeah, we're going to be on
Oh.
Anarchy instead. I'll let you know that because he's got his followers over his name. He wants to be anonymous. That's what it is. But not the best for your brand. But he does have himself McBain with him and already got a cheeky Peacekeeper R99 combo, which early game, pretty much as deadly as it can get. You want to be getting into some of those closer range battles, get yourself some extra loot. And if you're going to do it, having 3 players with purple armor and these weapons is pretty much as good as you can get.
I mean, it's interesting that they're so well stacked so early in the game. I mean, it often happens you'll arrive in an area and there'll just be like 3 purple armors sitting right next to each other. And it's really like hilarious, especially for other teams that are still rocking the white armor. And, you know, they'll engage in on you and go, how do you have purple armor?
Yeah. Well, I'm that person. I'm not the person with the purple armor. I'm the person going,
Yes.
how have you found that in 3 seconds? Why have I
Yes.
found 7 Mozambiques and nothing else? Like that's my level of luck.
That's it exactly. You know what? They should make it that you can dual wield Mozambiques. I think that would be good.
Ooh, this is a
Ooh,
close battle though, and
oh
actually
no.
Pistachio's going to go down very early on. He's still got his one teammate around him, but actually, I think he's going to be surrounded in. He needs to try and take this fight if he's going to have any chance of saving his teammate, and it is a sketchy one, but QQ just about gets away with it. The thing is, though, he's got other players pushing in, and there is no way he survives it. That is the luck of the draw sometimes in this game. You can be out within the first few seconds, and that's what will happen for Pistachio.
Unlucky there. I mean, that lifeline actually nearly clutched it out, but unfortunately wasn't able to heal up before the, I think it was the Wraith that was aggressing in on him. So we're going to come back here to Anarchy. And yeah, they're sitting kind of pretty here. He could definitely use some more shotgun shells, but aside from that, pretty good in terms of his own defensive abilities here. Got a couple of nades there, and haven't seen the rest of his inventory, so not too sure how the rest of his stock is. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, he's got the
Heard
Phoenix
you.
kit. Yeah, man, it's caster things. He could use a bigger backpack, but all in all, I mean, he's looking pretty good. And he's gonna be following math. Quick maths. Gonna be following quick maths there, past bunker and into this little area. And there's a lot of little houses where they can do some looting. And I don't think too many teams have been here, so possibly some potential to get some nice loot and upgrade what they already have, which, as I mentioned, is pretty good.
Yeah, I think the stabilizer as well that he's got for the R99 pretty much leaves him set. I think the only other thing he'd really need is to like extend the mag a little bit more, but not the end of the world. And they've clearly spotted an opposition. It's going to be Matt leading the charge. He's the Wraith. He can get out of there nice and quick and reduce the damage. But speaking of damage, there goes the nade popping off right by his feet. Luckily, we'll be able to quickly get in with the heals. And while they've already got one man down, make that gone as they continue to push forward to try and remove one more team from action.
Oh, nice arc star there, but is it going to get any value? Doesn't look like it. Does manage to just dodge that ordnance coming in and manage to survive. But oh, he's taking so much
He's
damage. From that
burning.
grenade. Oh, unlucky. On fire there. And they will get the cleanup kill onto him. Is there somebody else left alive? These guys are being way too careful for that to have been the only person left. Yeah, no, they're looking safe, and they're just going to keep rotating. I like that. Not standing still. They do realize that there is somebody else up on this high ground, and again, taking quite an aggressive stance here. Haven't quite found out where that person is, though, but not getting complacent.
Yeah, I wonder if that was more just the marker for the death box, or if they have actually seen someone else around that area looting. And if that is the case, then they are going to be looking to just try and close these players out before they risk too much. We've already mentioned that in terms of loot, they're actually in a fairly good state. So they don't really need to take too many risks. I'm sure he'd love a precision choke for his shotgun, but other than that, he can just switch out to the R99 and even going to be showing off the skins that you love so much.
I was about to say he really likes this skin. I wonder if somebody went into his chat and said, "Yo, you're on the stream," and now he's like, "All right, cool. Let's show everybody my cool swag." That's probably it, right? Oh,
Ooh.
nice. Getting some nice shots out there with the R99. And of course, he does have quite a nice stabilizer. So that's going to help quite a bit for him to connect those shots. And as he does a little bit of suppressive fire, we're going to see that Wraith going in for some aggressive pushes here. And enemy team will be backing out, but gets taken down. I think that was the last person, possibly. I think that's probably the guy that they've been looking for and have been chasing down for quite some time.
Yeah, this is sort of like capitalist Apex at the moment. As the rich get richer along the way, we can see them just wiping out teams one by one and basically just sort of picking off the little bits that they need. But well, Cookie, he's doing all right for himself here. Golden armor and a pretty little Kraber to add to his collection. Even picking up extra sniper stocks as well. That's interesting. I'm guessing that's for a teammate because he just picked up a sniper stock that he cannot use.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe it's for like if he runs out of bullets and then he'll pick up another sniper later. Oh, good spray here from Anarchy. And again with that stabilizer, going to be doing tons of damage. Arcstar out, trying to see if he can get some value out of that, but no, it doesn't look like he's able to. But he is going to aggress in here, and I think they've possibly managed to get one person down already, and that's why they're taking this aggressive stance here. Oh, but the Pathfinder goes down, and that's the problem with those zip lines. You are quite out in the open and can get a lot of damage taken. Pathfinder now actually dead, and it looks like Anarchy is going to hightail it out of there along with Moth on that Wraith. It's quite unlucky for that Pathfinder that he is going to be left behind. As we spoke about a little bit earlier, this isn't really the game mode where you do go for those revives. We have seen it done before, even happening in the zone to ensure the teams don't aggress onto you while it's happening. But oopsie, tried to go and put that zip line down, but gets caught out before he's able to put it down.
I'm actually quite surprised in that scenario that they don't go for the res, just because both remaining players were so healthy and they had a lifeline available to them as well. And just by how aggressive they were already being, it's quite surprising that that was the moment they went, okay, he's gone down, now we just leave him to die. But we've spoken about it already. It is just the nature of the game. It's survival at the moment. It's not about kills. It doesn't matter, unless, of course, it's right at the end, in which case you kind of have to do something. You can't really be the last one alive, unless, of course, the zone helps you out quite a bit. It can on occasions, but they are just going to be watching Zata look to push forward here. Now, he himself is not in the best spot in terms of his armor. That's the biggest problem he has, but he does have an R301 and a Spitfire, which, at least in terms of mid to long range, he's actually fairly well set. And if they're going to camp out in a house like they are right now, I would say this isn't too bad.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got a nice stable on the R301 and a decent one on the Spitfire. And of course, the Spitfire already is quite the dangerous weapon. So, decent loadout. I mean, even scrubs like me can get some value out of the Spitfire. So, you know that in the hands of somebody that knows what they're doing, it's going to be quite deadly. They're going to be hanging out on the edge of the circle here, waiting for teams to start pushing. And while they camp out there, we're going to come out to Anarchy, who seems to be in a little bit of trouble. Once again, these guys really don't know how to avoid these fights.
Yeah, it's interesting with how many teams that we've actually seen them wipe along the way in the early game. The fact that he has no kills. So clearly his teammates have been the ones like sort of cleaning up, maybe stealing a couple along the way. But the other thing I've noticed, I was just about to say, he kind of ruined my point by doing this, but I think this is the first time we've witnessed a lifeline actually call in a lifeline drop, because they just don't want to give away their positions. That's the biggest problem with them. So when you're not going for kills, when you don't need the armor, it's not really worth it. Now this is where things could become a bit problematic, because that Kraber it can get you down in one shot. It doesn't really matter how much head armor you have. It really can do a hell of a lot of damage, but not able to connect initially. Not really wanting to overface in this scenario. And I believe that's where we've just seen the lifeline actually call in the drop.
What I'm really happy to see with Cookie here and this Kraber is that he's not wasting those bullets. He is trying to make sure that he can get that shot, because we have seen a lot of players just absolutely whiff their Kraber shots.
Ooh.
Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Not wasting those bullets, trying to make sure that he gets as much value out of it as humanly possible. They do get quite a lot of damage onto that Wraith, but it wasn't enough to get her down. They're going to be pushed back here, but he does have that R99. So if somebody does come through the smoke, then it's fine. He'll just spray him right down.
Yeah, yet to heal his shields, just waiting on the edge. His teammates still around that area as well, giving them a bit of a chance to heal. He's on the edge of the ring as well. As you know, teams will be wanting to push around that area eventually, but I wouldn't have been surprised if his opponents actually rotated in that scenario. Like going through such a slim choke point to try and take a battle versus what you know is three players, one of them also with a Kraber, you're just not going to do it. And if they do now and go pushing through that angle, they've got a bit of a death wish. He even has the golden stabilizer as well on his R99. So he's pretty much as kitted as you can get when it comes to gold armor. The only real problem is his head armor. A few bullets to the face, and it doesn't matter what you have everywhere else, you're going down.
Exactly. And he could definitely afford to get a better helm, but they've got a fairly decent position here. They're right on the edge of the map itself. There's only a tiny little choke point behind them where somebody could come through, and he's holding that quite well. And the rest of his team are holding what's happening ahead of him. So they're not in too bad of a position until the ring starts to move once again. And now we're back on Anarchy here, and they have managed to survive all of the dangerous situations they've somehow consistently found themselves in, down to 14 squads, and it looks like Ring is going to be closing in on water treatment. Don't have the best positioning here unless by some miracle the zone does close in on them, but it wouldn't be the first time we've seen something like that.
Yeah, and while we're already going to lose ourselves another squad, HSD will be the ones going down. And you sort of look at the numbers, there's definitely a few teams that we know of that have got themselves some players missing. He's going to be sat with that Kraber looking for those dirty shots from a distance. We'll actually spot out one, but you can see not going to risk taking any real fights there, because even if he gets the headshot, even if he manages to drop him down, you know that that player is just going to drop back down and get revived by a teammate anyway. So it doesn't really benefit you too much. And as you mentioned, those Kraber bullets are so precious.
What's interesting is watching how these guys play with the Kraber. This isn't something you can practice with. It's not available in the training range, and the chances of getting them in a normal public game are fairly slim. So I love seeing how accurate some of these guys are on this weapon, and with it's so insanely deadly. Looking around the corners here, not seeing anybody. So this is a fairly safe bet for them. He doesn't really even need to watch this back alley anymore. They only really need to concern themselves with what's ahead of them. And of course, what's ahead of them is the circle, where they're going to need to be moving fairly quickly if they want to make sure that they don't get caught out in this zone.
Oh, this might be the moment he takes the shot, though.
He's
Looking to
peeking.
try and get the headshot. If he does go for the face, and there's the stand up, his opponents aren't there. But this is the thing. If he does go for the headshot, if he does get the down, it's whether or not he can actually finish off that player, or if it is just going to be wasted ammo. You only have 11 bullets left in this gun. But instead, we are going to switch things up. It's going to go back into the battle. One player lost already for this team. And in terms of what they've managed to collect so far, we mentioned it before, weaponry, not bad. Armor, not great.
Yeah, pretty lackluster. And they've got this Wraith portal here, and neither of them, I mean, I think they are kind of keeping an eye on it, trying to make sure that nobody uses it to take it or to engage on them while they're not looking, because that is something we've seen before, where somebody will come through somebody else's Wraith portal and just completely annihilate the team on the other side. So they were keeping an eye out there, but it looks like they are going to be going for a bit of a rotation just to kind of hide out here. Interesting spot to hide out. I wonder how long they plan to chill here. Not going to be in any sort of a building, because obviously buildings, it's easier to find people in buildings. Everybody goes through buildings. Not too many people are just going to be hiding out next to a rock.
Yeah. Well, it could definitely catch someone else off guard, but with the time ticking, only 45 seconds left on that clock, before, well, we see both teams we've just witnessed in the past few seconds have to move. And I think that will be where this game gets that little bit more exciting, because we've already seen multiple teams, so there's a third even, just camped outside of the ring. You can see there must be just a tingling in his finger as he wants to take that shot so badly, but instead they're going to be smart about it. They're going to try and just slowly rotate around, gain some ground, get themselves into a position which is far more valuable than the one they're in now. As we can already see, the ring is going to start slowly closing in on them, so they do have to get there eventually, but they don't want to be spotted as they do it. It's all about positioning when it comes to the Pro League.
And he is being very sneaky here. I sometimes feel like he might be being a little bit too cautious with this Kraber, unless he's using it more as a like binoculars, really, just to kind of scope out everyone and not necessarily to try to get those kills. Because I mean, he's got his crosshair on that Pathfinder's head so often, and he doesn't take the shot. He does still have those 11 bullets, and I understand wanting to save them, but I also think, like, kill him. You can get him.
Think this is the moment where we might finally see them pounce. I think it's just also that the opponents just have the chance to sort of escape, and they're actually going to push further in. He wants to give his team the benefit of like not being surrounded. I think that's the biggest problem. He takes a shot of that Kraber, everybody's going to be looking in their direction. Instead, they're slowly gaining ground. The only real problem is, as you sort of mentioned, okay, yeah, ammo's not going to be that much of a problem anymore, because that Kraber is not even going to be that valuable. They're going to have to just get rid of it eventually, unless they're going to plan to take some battles against the people running into the circle. But the first battle they have to take is the man on the roof, and finally we'll see the engagement come out from Cookie, but it isn't going to be anything lethal.
Yeah, it does manage to get a little bit of damage out onto that Pathfinder. The Wraith doing quite well to use the ceiling to dodge some damage here. And as you said, very shortly, that Kraber is going to be absolutely useless. Cookie and his team do have fairly good ring positioning here. On the other hand, they know that every team is going to need to get into this small area. But of course, that's dangerous, because every team is going to come into that small area. Yeah. We're going to have tons of nades coming through, and teams just absolutely doing everything that they can to plow damage in, especially if they know that there's an enemy team inside there. And of course, we spot now there's a team just across these little walkways here. And of course, there is the team that was just ahead. Oh, be careful for the grenades there that are coming through. That's a lot of damage being taken off of your shielding. And now they're being forced out of the circle just about. I don't think they were expecting to be engaged on quite so quickly, and we're down to 10 teams, and the ring is getting quite small, and to be pincered between two teams here already, it's not looking great for Cookie and his boys.
I think they're sort of in a situation we saw previously where the ring was absolutely perfect for T99, but the fact is there's too many doors, there's too many angles, there's too many places for them to try and check. Now this is interesting. Is this just going to be used as... I don't even think they want this. I think this is literally just being used at the moment as cover. But put it in the corner, give yourself that little bit of extra cover. You already have the angles cut off to your left because of the ring going to be coming in. So this could actually work wonderfully just as, well, basically protection.
Oh, and looks like they're going to need it. Some shots being fired from the other side, and well, we're going to abandon ship. We used that for a little bit of cover. Clearly, it's not providing the cover we wanted, so let's get the hell out of here. And they're going to be running straight into Cookie's team. Oh, this could be so dangerous. Cookie, are your boys still in here?
Yeah, they're on the other side of the door. I think they're blocking them outside. This is literally just a door being held at the moment. I don't think either team really wants to try and take this battle, and it's going to be a difficult one for them to take. Matt looking to hope that he can get something through. The grenade going to be thrown towards the door as well, and eventually it's going to blow up. This door has to disappear. I just love the gun just sticking through the temptation to try and take some sort of fire. But the problem is they've got other teams coming in from behind. Now they're the ones who don't want that door to open, because if it does, they're going to be completely surrounded. We're down to now 7 squads as the battle continues, and they're desperately trying to get away from things. But there's still that team from earlier on the roof. Lots of damage done with the Peacekeeper, but they need to remove one of these teams. They can't be attacked from above and below. They need to get rid of the roof team who've been up there a ludicrous amount of time. I'm actually surprised how much time they've managed to survive on the roof, but with more ultis coming in, with more being sent in their direction, surely someone has to die soon.
Oh, nice getting the down there. But of course, the Bangalore, the Rolling Thunder gets him down. That's so unfortunate. He is caught up on top of this building here. And can his teammate get him back up? There is still the Wraith up here that is going to be trying to get him down. His own Wraith probably dueling it out. Yes, just to the right here, dueling with that enemy Wraith, trying to get him down as well. And poor Anarchy just chilling here with this shield, trying so hard just to stay alive. We are down to 5 squads, which means that he does at least get some points. No, but Mouth gets taken out. And it will be by Flavor of the Month player Taylor. And this is somebody we were hoping to do a bit of casting on, but for some reason his stream isn't connected to his Discord. So, and let's see. Okay, we're going to be back here on to Max Scourgad. Let's see. They are just below where Cookie's team were. So I'm wondering if they've actually taken out Cookie's team. It's entirely possible. We're down to just 4 squads.
Yeah, there's a lot of golden boxes. Yeah, there's the Kraber. That is almost definitely the box that we saw from earlier, and it is going to be picked up. Not a single bullet was actually shot either. So all 11 bullets still remain within the Kraber, and it's just going to be a looting mission to try and get some better weaponry for this final scrap. The ring will continue from here on out. 1 minute 40 until everybody is forced into a tiny little space. We can already see that they're kind of in that already. Grenades being thrown up, hoping to try and catch players out of the corner. I don't know if there's anybody actually there because it didn't seem to do any damage as it hit. So no, it looks like they've managed to at least take control of the building. The problem is we still know that Taylor's up on the roof somewhere who's just going to be looking to try and hold from this position. And, well, we mentioned it in the last game. If you have the high ground, it can be pretty vital.
And that's the thing about where the ring is closing now. There's about 3 or 4 different levels that you can be hiding on. And for 4 teams, I mean, it makes it easy for everybody to just kind of hide out just that little bit longer. But these guys on the ground, they're going to be at the biggest disadvantage because everyone's just going to be lobbing grenades down and they're going to be caught in that crossfire. So they might need to try and find some slightly better positioning here because the moment the ring starts to close, it's going to get dangerous. That being said, whoever's on like a middle level could also be in trouble. Oh, but they've spotted out Taylor. They know he's on the roof. And I believe they should have a Pathfinder ultimate. So if they want to, they can actually aggress in on him and fairly quickly. But they're just going to be checking their angles for now, make sure nobody's sneaking up on them. They've realized that there must be a team back here somewhere. And they want to just make sure that nobody gets any funny ideas about trying to flank them.
I like what they're doing with the grenades as well. The grenades at this point aren't even really being used for damage. They're used to find out if there's people in these corners. If you get even a point of damage, you know that there's someone hiding down there. If not, you can pretty much assume that there isn't. The only problem is if somebody's a Wraith and they use their Q, it's not going to give you any sort of reading. So that's the only real way that strategy can go wrong for them. The fact is, though, now the ring gets pushed. Now everything's going to get nice and close. And straight away, the grenades are going to be thrown straight into the circle. You can see Scourge going to try and just survive using his ult, spraying down one more, and we'll get them into the top 3 as well. That was the one man from BT just surviving. But look how much damage he's getting chunked out of the zone. He has to try and get into the middle. He's not the only one there, but he will get the final kill. 3rd game in a row, we get to watch the victor as Scourge will close things out for his team.
Fantastic play here. And I actually thought it was getting so close. And while the gunshots were coming through, I saw Taylor getting that kill leader position. And I was like, oh, it's looking so dangerous here. But no, it looks like these guys will take that win. And I'm so happy that we are getting to see streamers winning it out. So I have to kind of death spectate the win. And it's nice that we've had a day with so many victorious streamers. And yeah, that's going to be it for our last, or rather for game 5. And we are going to be going into game 6 very, very shortly. Please, guys, don't go away. It is the last game of the evening, and it's going to be a good one. See you in a bit. Welcome back, everybody, to the Apex.Pro EU League. This is game 6. It will be our very, very last game of the evening on the fifth day of the season. We've got a couple more days for you after this, but for right now, we are going to see a Wraith go down really early on. Good Lord.
Is that boy down already? Boy better know, because
Jeez.
that has gone very badly indeed. His teammates still stand at least for now. That's what I hope. I imagine he is very unhappy at this point, and where by the looks of it, may not show too much more. Is this whole squad dead already, or have we just switched? Dear
Yeah,
Lord, things have
no.
gone very badly.
That's well, there you go. First squad down in this game. A little unfortunate. And we're going to be going into a squad that's in another fight. What is going on? We get into game 6 and suddenly everyone's like, you know what, I'm tired. I want to go to bed. Let's just W key into the enemy team and get this game over with quickly. It's quite strange to be seeing this because as we've mentioned a few times, this is all about playing for positioning. Kills don't matter. If you place in the top 3 at the end of the season, you will be winning your share of $1,000 donated by Battalion. So yeah, kind of weird that they're going
Hmm.
to be going for
Well,
the hitting of the heavy W's.
yeah, I'll be honest. I've heard the story of the boy who cried wolf, but I think we've just witnessed the boy who cried.
Quoi?
It was a shit joke about a kid's book because he died within the first few seconds. He's probably very upset. Wait, do you not know the boy who cried wolf?
I mean, I do, but what do you mean the boy who just cried? Is it big?
Because the last player who just died was called Boy.
Okay, that's
But he
sure.
cried because he lost. There you go.
Okay, that's moving swiftly
My
on.
puns are too good. It's you couldn't keep up. That's what it was.
That's what it was. One thing I can tell you is you're definitely ready to be a dad. You got the jokes in the bag, and that's pretty much all you need. As long as you can tell a really bad dad joke, yeesh, then you're good to have kids. So GG, you have my blessing. Go forth and multiply.
I'm sure
Yeah,
my
sorry
girlfriend
guys,
will
the
be very
banter
happy
gets
to know
weird.
that.
As she should be. She's got a wonderful man who tells the best dad jokes. What more can a mother want for her children?
Dear Lord, this has gone off topic very fast. Let's move back into the game before we all completely lose the plot. We are going to even switch at the right time as well, and it's not going too well at the moment, at least for W. We're actually going to switch just as he dies.
Oh
So
no.
this is basically just we've become the death cam at the moment. Is we are cursed in
Oh
terms of
my
who we're
word.
watching. We've been very lucky throughout the game so far to watch all of the winners, so it's only right that now everybody we witness dies.
And yet somehow we always find our way back to this one. It's like as soon as we go off of this guy, the person we get to will die. The universe has told us we need to spectate this team. This is the team to spectate, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Oh, let's hope that it continues to go well for them. Otherwise, the curse may continue. But just hunting around a little bit to see if there's any loot left after the initial battles that they've had. And in all honesty, in terms of weaponry, it seems like they are doing fairly well, at least in these initial portions of the game. They're going to get themselves their lifeline drop in as well, which will give them the opportunity to gain some extra armor as well. So already purpled up very early on in this one.
Yeah, and that's a really good position to be in. We do see it quite often where early on in game these guys will have ridiculous amounts of armor out of nowhere, and a fairly decent loadout as well. Looking really good out here. Um, we're gonna be stuck on these guys for a while because it seems everyone we swap to just like straight up dies. It's kind of orcs, and there's not too much to talk about here. Let's tell you what, let's swap over to Dids here and see if he can do something interesting for us. I do see the G7 Scout there, which, as we've seen in slightly closer proximity, you can do really well with that increased rate of fire.
Yeah, it's well put by myself. The spam
Yeah.
ability of this gun definitely helps you out quite a bit. It's definitely more forgiving is the way I'd use, or the word I'd use, because if you make some mistakes with maybe a shot or two, you get the second chance. Whereas with the longbow, well, maybe not so much with the triple take, but more so the longbow. If you miss a shot, it does take a little while, and with the Kraber, you're basically screwed. Like you miss a shot with that, and you have a long time before you're getting another one. So yeah, it's definitely the most forgiving of the longer range weapons within this game. And that anything past that, you sort of get down into like more rifle territory anyway. So this is the only, I would say this is the only real like sort of DMR gun we have where it's sort of like a semi-automatic rather than sat up there with the like full bolt action snipers.
Yeah, gonna be using the Pathfinder ability here to discover where the next ring is going to be and start moving in towards a better position. And oh, it looks like they're positioned pretty well here, so we will not be seeing too much of a rotation. The universe gave us good games, and now it's giving us like a really boring one for our last one, and that's kind of sad. Um,
Yeah, it's we couldn't have it all. They say that three is the magic number, so we got three in a row of getting to see those sort of final kills. Number four, or the final in this case, no, we went too far. We asked for too much, and yeah, we're gonna be switching once again. Not so well kitted out, but
oof.
already gonna try and push in a little bit more. Try and find out some more information, gather some ground, get some better loot, which is the biggest thing for this team at the moment. But it seems like a lot of the places they're already going and have been looted quite heavily.
And that does put them in a bit of an awkward position, but they will have that lifeline package fairly soon. So they might just decide to use that, drop that out there, and hopefully somebody gets some decent armor or a nice attachment or something, just to give them a little bit more of an edge here. Because in terms of attachments, he's all right, but it could definitely be better. And obviously, as we mentioned, the armor situation is not great. This game in general has been so strange. So many teams dying so early, teams that haven't been able to find any good loot on their travels, and the ring is closing in. The zones are getting smaller, and it's not looking too good for any of these teams at the moment.
Yeah, looking like a bit of a struggle, but I'm sure there's a team out there that's fully kitted golden guns and just giggling to themselves with the way that things are currently going. We just haven't witnessed them yet. There's always someone lucky. There's always someone out there who's basically getting all the things that you ever dreamed of, and that can also apply to life as well. Just remember, there's always someone better.
Wow. Some really inspirational words here from Tombizz today, guys.
You can put
Yeah,
a positive spin on it. You could say you always have something to aim for. There you go. That sounds a lot nicer than what I originally said.
it does somewhat, yeah. And life would be boring without goals. So I think I'm gonna stick with that one instead of, you're just shit. Lots of peeking and checking. Gonna be using those binoculars to try to see if anybody's kind of moving in at a little bit of a stalemate here. Every single team seems to be hiding quite nicely. Nobody really getting caught out of position. It's just is something happening here? He has taken a bit of damage, so clearly there is a team nearby. But they're not aggressing. They did a little bit of poke damage and they backed off. Rest of his team are a little bit further ahead. It looks like they might be backing out a little bit. Anybody around? No? Alrighty.
Well,
Oh.
managed to find at least a scope to go in for the longbow that he was holding. It's just going to be switching up and a purple armor galore. Actually, well, switching over to the white armor for a second, but just hoping he can heal up that purple that little bit more in a bit of a fight here. Now, I do love it, I have to say, when you see a pro like going aggro with a longbow. Like, it's rare, but you can sort of get those filthy headshots available to them. And by the looks of things, you're just going to go for a peek with the white armor. Maybe try and bait them in a little bit here. I quite like, if that's the idea behind it, like take a shot from the white armor. They go, oh, he's got nothing. Let's go aggressive. And then there's some purple armor down there ready to sort of sponge up all those bullets that will be coming.
Possibly, possibly. We actually do see that quite a lot. It might just be that they don't have anything to get those armors back up. Like they don't have shield batteries or shield cells, so they drop the armor, take a little bit of damage to their body, put the armor back on, heal up, and switch it out a little bit there. There are many possibilities, but we're going to be swapping over once again, and we're going to have yet another team holding out in a little hut in pretty good circle positioning here. And once again, they are going to be good for 2 to 3 more, at least 2 circles, obviously, because they have seen the next circle. So a good 3 or 4 more circles, if they stay in this little hut. Really prime positioning here to just do what every other team is doing and camp out.
Yeah. Longbow with the skull piercer as well is always going to be helpful. And well, you were speaking of finding out where the next zone is. That's exactly what we've seen coming out from the Fnatic guys as well. Going to be looking to get themselves early in towards the ring. Still a little bit problematic for Dids in terms of not only his armor but also the weaponry. But you could see that they're going far more down this sort of survival route. They're going to get the information. Now they're going to go for slower rotations, take their time around the edges of the circle, so that then if they're pushing in, there's either going to be only people in front of them, or if there's someone behind them, they're taking so much damage along the way that it really doesn't matter too much if you have to take that fight.
And they're going to be trying not to, though. That's definitely the ideal situation. We've got Dids in the backline here with the G7 Scout. Going to try. Oh, nice. Gets a nice shot there. That's a full 30 damage onto somebody with some white armor. And I do believe that's where our boys earlier that we were so worried about with their terrible armor situation. But going to be getting a little bit more damage here from Dids in this backline, doing a lot of suppressive fire. And of course, forcing the team up on that high ground to rotate away. And it's forcing them into an awkward position because they either have to push into the rest of Fnatic or peak for Dids to blow their heads off.
And this is a battle within the house as well. By the looks of it, this is who has actually been fighting up against. You do see it now. So it was the shots onto the white armor. You look at their team, every single person is purple armor. So I think that was a little bit of a bait, maybe trying to get Fnatic to push onto them, going, oh, well, these guys are weak. Let's try and take them out. And instead, they're that little bit stronger, but they are still taking a fair bit of damage in these early fights. It is going to be actually the grenade able to drop down one of the members of Fnatic, and they're going to go pushing. They want to try and take the fight versus Fnatic now, who are actually down and out. They're losing players left, right, and center, and it's going to be the chase coming in from Zart and Co, looking to try and close down this final member of Fnatic. And by the looks of things, they may have just done it as well. Dids is dead. And, well, there's the last man in the corner. He's trying to run away. He's actually doing a very good job of just dodging these remaining bullets, but this is just a pure out chase. They're going to come all the way through using the ulti, and just look at Nicola just trying to run away, get away with that Bangalore. It probably is the right character to try and do this with. Every time getting spotted, could just run through and taking so much damage along the way, but somehow still alive.
Doing really well to survive that with all of the fire that was being put in on him. And you can actually see the look on Zardes' face there a moment ago, like, really, bro? Not able to take this guy out. Oh, he's still taking so much more damage from the side there. Nice smoke comes out. Oh, big headshot. So much damage onto Nicola. He does have that legendary armor, though, so he is going to be staying alive for a little bit longer here, but he is being chased down. Oh, he's hiding. He's hiding behind. The zone is about to start closing, though. Like, this is literally the worst place that he can be. The ring. Oh my lord!
What is the plan here? I'm actually really interested with what he was actually doing there. Took a little bit of extra damage from the zone. I don't know, but I guess with having the full HP, able to get him back. And yeah, his opponents have actually just decided this one man is not worth the fight. They've already removed 2. So they're just going to go back and actually start looting. And the fact is, eventually he does have to push in towards that direction anyway, unless he is going to take a longer route. And if anything, knowing the amount of players here, already losing battles with the rest of his team to this team, I would take the long route. Go for the survival battle. Try and get yourself into that top 5. Sneak a point or 2. Chances of the win very slim. But at this point, I think they're slim anyway.
Well, that's the thing. He's going for that Krems play. When 2 of your team members are down, that's how you get top 5. You go and camp out somewhere. So that's definitely what he's going to be doing. We're going to be swapping over here onto Zephyr here. And, Zap, hee hee, he. Who knows how this dude pronounces his name. Going to be firing a couple of shots with that wingman. Nice that he's got the digital thread as well, which will give him a little bit more vision 13 squads left as the ring continues to become EDB. It's interesting that the teams are being able to hide out so well, but once the ring closes in a little bit more, it's going to become a lot more difficult to find those hiding places.
This is where we can see Ozzy just spamming shots away. He has spotted a few players further down, has that longbow with the chance to try and do some real damage with that gun. Skull Piercer on it as well, so any headshots are going to be fatal to their opposition. And while they actually have a fairly good spot to just hold off players if they are within the ring, they're right on the edge as well, so they're not in too much danger. The only real problem is there's likely to be players behind them. Like, you see how this ring is at the moment. You can almost guarantee there's going to be a few teams still just lurking around in the back.
Yep, and so they're going to be trying to check. Oh, Rolling Thunder coming through just across the way, and of course it isn't Aussies because they don't have the Bangalore, so they know that there's another team very close by, just across the way there. And as you say, with the zone right behind them, there could be more teams coming in to try to pincer. And with 13 squads, it could be anybody. It could be 2 to 3 teams. In fact, we're going to be swapping back over to War here, and they have managed to find someone. They are engaging from across the way. Oh, gets
Ooh.
taken quite a bit of damage there. Um, purple armor on the ground. I'm not sure if he like swapped through it or if it just didn't. If
Yeah,
it's like,
I think they're both empty. I think that's the big
oh,
problem with what they've been doing so far is that they're now just going to have to use their remaining shield cells. He's actually fairly low on them, only one left, so he won't even get back up to max HP. And this sort of been the battle of attrition that have been coming in for this team. The fact that they've been trying to camp out in this building for so long that they're actually in quite a bit of trouble here. Now we're back on board with Ozzy. He knows, as you said, there's people around this corner and they're going to go running right in towards it. Spots the
oh,
man in the building. The flames are going to try and burn them out of the corner as he goes for the aggressive play straight through.
oh.
So much damage already done, spraying through. And he's actually going to be surviving just in the corner. His teammates now around to come and help him out. The Arcstar going to be able to finish off one. And they're going chasing. They want to get it down to just 11 squads left. And that's exactly what they managed to do. Although there's more players just around the corner. Battle after battle. They've managed to kill off one squad, but there's more to go. And I think the nades may have actually done enough. His teammate's going to be down, but they do spot out the remaining players looking to come in from behind. So many teams just lurking around this background. The tree doing the damage, the tree saving him at the moment. You can see.
Oh, nice utilization there of the little mini grapple, moving position and getting in on the other side of the Wraith to finally get the takedown. And somehow his entire team managing to survive that all out battle. We're down to just 9 squads. And the next ring is tiny, and right on the edge of the next ring is Zart. Somehow they have managed to maintain position in the ring, but they do know that there's somebody in the other, just across the way there. And there's so many places where other teams can be coming from, so many angles to aggress from. If they maintain their positioning here, once again, there's the advantages and the disadvantages, but I think the biggest disadvantage, as we've highlighted a few times, is just every single team is going to be converging upon you in a couple of seconds. This could get really hairy.
I think the one bit of luck that they actually have, though, is that because of the size of the ring in the other direction, the chances are the majority of teams are actually going to come from in front of them and not behind them, unless they're literally hiding on the very edge of the outside of the building. So the chances are there's going to be lots of players pushing further forward. We've already seen plenty of battles going from that very spot, and we can see the sort of other side of things. It's a tale of two halves, and almost Romeo and Juliet, as there's the wall in the middle and they're trying to battle it out from either side. But the fact is, neither team wants to be the first one to take that face and take that risk, but the nades are going to start raining in on the building.
And that's what makes those nades so powerful and so potent, is that you don't have to aggress. You peek for half a second to throw a nade, and then you wait and hope that the nades do the work for you. And sometimes they do, in fact, do that work for you.
Ooh.
Oh, so much damage coming through with that wingman, along with the digital threat, giving you the extra sight. That's actually huge. Going to get the knockdown, and down to 7 squads already. Oh my word! And as
Oh.
a nice takedown here from Zart with the longbow. And again, longbow very deadly at the moment. I'm actually enjoying these long range sniper battles. It's not something that we see too often, but it is fun to watch.
Yeah, this game has pretty much turned into a tower defense at this point. Each team just standing up in a building and firing off from all areas. But the fact is, look where the final ring is. It is not in any of the buildings. Maybe a slight smidge of a corner. If you all jumped on each other's heads, you might be able to survive. But the fact is, eventually they're going to end up in the middle. And well, we'll see who's going to be able to hold that one off. Everybody at this point is getting themselves a few points on the board as only 5 squads currently remain. But now it comes down to crunch.
And we are going to be seeing a lot of nades coming through when that ring starts to close once again. Some nice suppressive fire from Zart, making sure that whoever is out there either doesn't peek or when they do get their head blown off. And either way, it's a win-win for him. They can't kill his team, or he might just be able to blow their heads off. So going to be holding on the and as I say, blowing heads off. A nice 55 damage, but clearly with a nice little helm there, so is going to negate some of that damage and not die. Huge.
Yeah, they've spotted the player out on the counter roof, but this is where things get exciting. The countdown begins for the last few seconds of this, as everybody's going to have to make their way into the center or they will get chunked down. Now, we saw in the last game, it was the survival within the ring that actually helped them out, but it is now going to be Zaf. The Knights go for the zone very quickly, and they've actually found a little hidey hole in the middle that actually enables them to still be covered. This is the perfect spot to win this game, and they are just chunking down damage, and his opponent's actually going to go down to the ring. So that's already one more squad lost as we head down to 4. The problem is, however, his teammates have been taken down, and he's taken a lot of damage. This time we won't get to see the victor from our end, as Zaf will be caught, and one by one the battle continues. Look at this though, just sat in the corner. This is absolutely filthy. It's down to just 2 squads. You can see the giggling coming out from his teammate as well, as he just sits in this corner just inside the ring. That's top 2 as well. That's so many extra points that have just been gathered just by that dirty little spot in the corner. And eventually, well, we are just going to sit and wait, because I imagine they're going to find him sooner rather than later.
And he's so chilled about it. And it's like you said, once the ring closes, it's going to be really difficult to find a hiding spot. And yet somehow he found himself a hiding spot. And very soon these guys are, I mean, we saw them running towards where he is just a moment ago. He's laughing his ass off. He knows I mean, at this point, you might as well go out guns blazing, right? But
there's the nade. They know exactly where he is. Oh, I love it. He's just going to use it to survive. This is actually fantastic. And this is the sort of what I was talking about. I was like, maybe there's a dirty spot if they all stand on each other's heads. This is the dirty spot. He literally, only his gun is poked into the zone. The fact is, the second the 40 seconds are up, he is dead. And it's probably going to come before then all the nades start to rain in. How is he not taking any damage from this? That's his 4 nades that pretty much jumped onto the corner. So little damage taken. I think the remaining players, well, realistically, they can just wait. They don't have to do anything here. But the fact is, yeah, they're just going to sit outside. This is the smart play. It's not the play that anybody at home wants to see. You want to see them go for the hunt. You want to see them shut him down. But they know exactly where he is at this point. There's only one corner that he can currently be in. And you're going to see Fred just have to go running. Unfortunately, this is not a situation he can win. You can see it now. This is where it begins. The zone starts to move. And, well, he should just be caught in this corner within seconds. There we go. Just going to try and res up, get as much health as he can, throw some nades into the corner and hope that he can chunk them down. Lots of damage actually being done. The problem is, though, he's taken a hell of a lot of damage. He's trying to use the Wraith portal to actually give himself a little bit more of a chance, but his opponent's just hiding in, and eventually he has to jump into his death. Even still, though, as a last man standing, just by surviving in that corner, that he went from 5th to 2nd. That is so many extra points gathered in that game. A very smart play.
That was so well played. And the thing is, like, with all of the nades that he was throwing out, if he'd actually managed to get a down or something, that would have been absolutely hilarious. But unfortunately, not able to. He does, however, take the 2nd place for his team. Such good games today. This last game started out so slow, but it did end in a fantastic meme. So not terribly disappointed with that ending. But unfortunately, that is going to be it for us with the Apex Pro EU League for today. That was our very last game. So, from myself and my crew, and that is, of course, Bemi, our producer, Spaceman, our director, and Tombizz, my wonderful co-caster for the evening. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We will see you again tomorrow night for the next day of season 3. We are getting dangerously close to the end of the season where those points will be tallied up and the prize will be dollied out. So please join us tomorrow. It's going to be fantastic. Have a wonderful evening.